What's going on, Minecraft fans? My name's Luke the Notable, and in this video, I'll be surviving 1,000 days in Minecraft Hardcore mode. If you've never heard of Hardcore Minecraft before, that's because it's exclusive to the Java version of the game, so it's only on computer. And this difficulty setting makes Minecraft way harder. It definitely earns the name Hardcore. But most notably, of all the rules with Hardcore Minecraft, probably the worst one is that if you die, your whole world is deleted. Doesn't matter if you put a ton of work into your farm or your walls are really high, if a creeper ends up creeping up on you, it's over. Again, this is only on the Java version of the game, so you'll have to play on computer if you want to try out hardcore mode. I ended up just going with a random world. No particular seed or anything like that. And now finally, here we are. Day number 1. I spawned in a forest biome which had both oak and birch trees, so at least I'll have a lot of material. But honestly, it doesn't really matter where we started. My objective is just to not die for 100 days. And you can not die anywhere. It was a very dense forest, so I was chopping for a while. I'll make it look decent eventually, but for now we're just going on survival, so I'm going with dirt windows. It might be 20% dirt, but if it has a door, it's home. I also wasted a good bit of time building a mine shack right next to my house that I would never use, because when it got dark I went to my main house and then just built a mine there. For our first day we did pretty well, had almost everything, but I was getting a little bit hungry. And Hardcore Minecraft is the only version of Minecraft where if you get too hungry, you can actually die. But I figured I'd deal with the food situation in the morning. I can't go out at night, so figured I'd just mine. I found a lot of coal and iron, which is great, but there's still so much to do. So now it's the next morning, day 2, but it's raining outside, so even though it's morning, it's just as dangerous as night. Whatever, at this point if I die I'm only losing like 20 minutes. Again, I spent most of my time just clearing out the area. It was filled with trees. And right as the sun started to go down, I had a pretty cleared out area, and even had a wooden fence to help keep out the zombies and creepers. You know, I loved those dirt windows, but I think glass ones will work a little bit better. And thanks to all those trees I farmed, I also got enough apples to keep me alive for a while. I mined at night, because there's nothing else better to do. By the morning of day 3, it was still raining, but these apples aren't gonna last forever. I've got to set a farm up. Thanks to all my work the previous 2 nights though, I had a bucket, which made it a lot easier. It's a humble farm, but in a couple days it'll feed me, and I won't die. Haha! I had a lot of cobblestone, so I decided to put it to good use and build a protective wall. I really shouldn't have done this at night though. As you can see, right as I finished, a creeper creeped up on me. After that creeper scare, I decided to spend the rest of the night mining more cobblestone. It was a nice bright sunny day on day 4, so I chopped down more trees. My entire compound is surrounded by them. Skeletons, zombies, and even creepers have been known to hide in these things, so I feel way safer with them gone. However, after 4 days of mining trees in the daytime hours, I started to pile up a decent amount of wood, so I began construction on the second story of my house. Sure, it's a little simple, but it's very functional. Compared to some of my previous attempts, I'm actually doing very good for day 4. No skeletons have killed me yet. I've got a house, of course I've got my little farm out there, and I even have a bed, so I can sleep through the night peacefully. Day 5, I was working on expanding the farm and also making it safe with these cobblestone walls. I did just the tiniest bit of exploring and found a nearby swamp, but I've been known to get lost, so I'm not gonna venture out too far. This time I had ventured a little bit too long, and it got dark on me, so the monsters came out. On hardcore mode, all of the monsters in the game not only spawn more often, but they're also more deadly. So I ran back home. Just never go out at night. This is not a joke. But again, thanks to some sheep who are tragically no longer living, I can just sleep through the night. All I did for the entirety of day 6 was farm trees. The tree cutting continued well into day 7, but by this point I kinda got it to a point where I was comfy. It did take a while, but I got a sizable chunk of land cleared out. No spooky stuff hiding here. Though ironically, as soon as I went into the forest, I could see that a skeleton was hiding in the trees. This is exactly why I'm clearing it out. Day 8, I'm back to exploring, but this time I have a boat and a little more knowledge of the surrounding area, so I probably won't get lost. I really wanted to find a village or town. They're one of my favorite aspects about Minecraft. I didn't find one, didn't find anything actually, mostly swamps. I still had some daylight left, so it's time for my first harvest. From here on out, I'll be eating bread. Farming definitely kept me pretty busy. Remember, if you don't eat, you die. I did not end up sleeping through the night day 8. Instead, I worked on making my mine a little bit more accessible. And now it's the start of day 9. I don't remember why I made a sign. I must have felt proud or something. Clearing the largest forest in the world has definitely given me a good amount of logs. So in the sweet daylight of day 9, I upgraded my house again. Clearing the forest takes a while, so moving up is way easier than moving out. And obviously it took all day, but I built up to the 4th story, which gave me a nice look of my land. Oh, you gotta know I slept up there. It's day 10, and I'm still alive. It's probably a good time to invest in some armor, even if it's just iron. On hardcore mode, you need it. Any one of those mobs in the right situation could easily kill me. I also expanded my wall and changed it all to stone, just to keep keep the monsters out better. At this point, the dream was to surround the entire area in a nice stone wall. Obviously, that was going to take a while, but a stone wall surrounding my entire compound is going to keep me very safe. By the end of the day, I got most of it done, but it doesn't have any torches on it, so it's still fairly dangerous out there. But I wasted no time and spent all night mining instead of sleeping. Thankfully, because I'm recording this, I can time out the night and day cycles pretty easily, even underground. I woke up early for the harvest on day 11. The crops were coming in great. Food was never really an issue for me. I had tons of apples from cutting down every tree in existence. I just really liked the agricultural aspects of this game. But obviously, farming is nowhere near as fun as wall building. My wall looks a little interesting in certain places, but you gotta forget about vanity when you're playing hardcore Minecraft. It's all about survival. So again, when the sun went down, I went straight into my mine and didn't come out until the next day. Day 12, I was minding my own business when some raiders showed up. Good thing I built this wall. Without the wall, I would have been swarmed and stuck in my house by these raiders, but thanks to my wall, I was totally fine. I was even able to use a certain corner of my wall to safe spot the raiders so I could kill them without taking damage. Unfortunately, every time you kill raiders, you get the bad omen effect, so this thing's stuck on my screen. Don't worry, I'll get rid of it in the morning. Well, the first thing I did was make a compass. I told you earlier I have a habit of getting lost. To cure myself, I simply had to find a cow, extract some white stuff, and then slurp it down. I also brought 2 lassos so I could take some cows back with me to start on my animal farm. I also grabbed 2 cute little piggies. There's no point in naming them. They'll be dead soon. There's no pen yet. They just live in the inner wall. Still safe. And you know, by day 13, I'm feeling pretty safe too. I've got some high walls and 10 bread in my inventory. And then look at that. During my nighttime mining, I even found some gold. Gold is one of the main ingredients in a clock, which allows me to keep really good track of the day-night cycle. Obviously, during the day, it's pretty easy to tell that it's daytime. But at night, when I'm in the mines, it's always a little difficult to tell just how long you've been down there. But with this clock, I'm the master of time. Not space yet, but we're getting there. I stumbled upon some lapis lazuli as well. For a second, I thought they were diamonds and peed myself a little. Day 15, I started on a second wall outside of my first wall. I spent all day building my outer wall. It's really starting to become something. Obviously, it's not perfect though. There's still a couple dark spots, and that's why I came out at night, to make sure I lit them up. Morning of day 16, wall construction was gonna continue, but I saw a witch and a couple other mobs, so I decided not to this time. I didn't even mind. Farm time's the best time. And you know, for every foot of wall, I've gotta take down 3,200 trees, so it takes a while. Day 17, I was minding my own business, cutting down trees, when I found an unexplored cave on my land. It was a lot bigger than I thought, and this could possibly be where a lot of the zombies were coming from. Good thing I found it. I did find one creeper, but I had the high ground. That was fine. Day 18, I was clearing out trees for the wall until my axe broke. That's fine, gave me a chance to go back home and switch out my torches for lanterns, just to flex a little. It was a long day of wall building, and I'm almost done, but I went to bed early. And on the morning of day 19, with that final wall place, my perimeter is finally secure. I stayed out at night for day 19, just wanted to make sure that all of the little dark spots were covered up and no monsters could get in. Monsters could definitely get in. There's a lot of dark spots. And of course, any spider can climb right over that thing. Though I will say on hardcore mode, the mob spawns can get a little bit intense, and this one zombie is a lot less deadly than 40 zombies. Anyway, at the end of the day, I ate right before bed, even though mom told me not to. Day 20, with no more wall to complete, I constructed this bridge that's pretty small and totally useless. I was pretty much just trying to find a way to burn the daylight hours. I'm waiting till night to check the wall again. Went up to the top floor of my house to check the lighting on the wall. From up here, you can see exactly where all the dark spots are. I think the caves in this section are contributing to some of the zombie population. I went with some simple lights, but it's fine because everything the light touches is my property. And I was lighting up the wall all night until daytime the next morning. I still had a couple monsters spawning on my compound, so day 21 I went into this cave and made sure that every square inch of it was owned by my estate. And you know, I'll always make time for a little bit of farming. The compound's really starting to come together. It's very safe. It's not totally free of monster spawns, but most of them don't come here anymore. And finally, because I could build through the night, I was able to build a pig and cow pen pretty easily. You know, maybe some of you out there could do a little bit more with 21 days, but I'm proud of myself. Now that my home base is more or less secure, I'm working on branching out. I can't stay here forever. I got plans to find the ocean. I want to move in every direction. Explore this entire land. But first, I'm gonna expand my house a little bit, so I need the sand to make glass. Day 23 was the first day of house construction. Remember, it's a little easier to go up than out. I have literal mountains of wood, so I had to figure out something to do with it all. I spent all day constructing room after room of this house. It's gonna be a tall one. Yep, 7 stories up, and this is only the beginning. Remember, I didn't want to spend too much time on my house. It's not about vanity, but I spent another day on it. 10 stories of wood, all collected from the trees around my spawn. Isn't it beautiful? So I immediately cranked it up to 32 chunks and stood on top of my glorious structure. I didn't really learn anything new. I'm surrounded by mountains and swamp. And honestly, I could stay up here all day, but we should probably move this video along. Day 25, I switched out my birch lights for redstone ones. It's a little bit of a flex, but I think it looks nice. And I'm just as bad at redstone as I am at life. life. I ran out of cobblestone for my wall, so it's back to mining at night. The clock helps a ton when I'm down here. I can tell that it's just about to be— oh, those are diamonds! Yes! 5 of them. This is good. I made a sword and a pickaxe. I think most of us probably would. So day 26, with iron armor, a diamond sword, and most importantly a compass, I set out for more adventure. It was getting pretty late and I ventured out pretty far, so it looks like I'm hunkering down for the night. I couldn't sleep, so I just sat in the house and waited until morning while I ate food in real life. I went a little past sunrise, probably had to poo or something. On the road again, mostly just looking for villager towns. I really like those things. I didn't end up finding a town, but I found a desert ruin and some sort of outpost. I've looted desert ruins before, so I decided to go with this one first. There was a creeper inside, but honestly that's pretty standard. I actually lost about 35 days of work when I died to a creeper inside a jungle ruin. To my credit, it did lag a little bit and I had my shield up, still died. Anyway, back to the ruin. I can see the chest, but I know it's totally a trap. I took my time, I was extra careful, everything was fine. Hey, a little free TNT's always nice. I got a couple emeralds, some assorted bones, no diamonds or anything, but it was definitely worth my time coming down here. And it's getting pretty late, so we'll handle that other thing tomorrow. I made a pretty lame structure and then just stood there all night. Alright, now it's morning. Time to take on the pillager outpost. Lol, just build! There were a lot more of them than I thought, but I had a lot of bread, so I'll probably be fine. It seemed like they only spawned outside of the structure, so I went inside and barricaded myself in. The loot wasn't great, but I like carrots, so that got me a little excited. Oh wow, this got very out of hand very quickly. Most of them died because they shot each other in the back. It was very sad. I ran away, but with sweet victory. And my belly full of loot, I ran through the night to my home. I made it back fine. I could see my house from a mile away. I only had 8 carrots, but using the bone meal I got from the desert ruin, I was able to get those rookie numbers up quick. After farming, I spent most of the day fishing. There's a couple rare items you can get from fishing, and it's easier than going through dungeons. At night, I decided to upgrade my house, at least the first level. Putting different layers of wood is one simple thing you can do to make your house look pretty homey. One day, I think all the rooms will look this nice, but obviously, as you can tell, they're not. Day 30, I ventured out in search of chickens. I came back with sheep, which, you know, I guess I needed 2, whatever. And after all of day 30, I never did find chickens, but 2 llamas is just as good. Day 31, I found chickens, but I had to lure them the old-fashioned way. Good thing I can cut all of that out. It took all day. As you can see, it's dark now. I generally try to wait to harvest my crops until they're all fully grown, but I was just so excited to get at those carrots. Now I can finally start breeding all of the animals, except the llamas. I don't want more of those. It was kind of rainy on day 32, so I decided to redo my basement. I spent all of day 32 just making my basement look nicer, and I think I did an okay job. Day 33, I really started to get this animal farm underway. It's not just meat. Animals are used for a lot of different items in Minecraft, and that was pretty much it for day 33. I thought about mining, but decided against it. Day 34, I did a little more exploring and found a nice little meadow with a ton of flowers. I also found some roving pillagers, but with a little bit of building, it's pretty easy to take them down. And getting rid of the bad omen trait isn't a problem anymore. I've got access to unlimited white stuff. You know, going up to the 10th floor every night to sleep never got annoying. Day 35, I started on a bridge that would connect my land to a nearby shore. It took a little bit longer than I expected, but I wanted to make the part around my land a little nicer. After building the wall, I gotta do something with all this cobblestone. And everything you're seeing on screen now is a full day's work in Minecraft. Kind of underwhelming. And by the end of day 36, the bridge was completely done, complete with safety rails and torches. Day 37, I decided I was going to extend this granite road further into this mountain. However, the mountain was far chunkier than I could ever imagine. So if it's alright with all of you, I'll just skip the next 15 minutes of me mining. Took about half a day's labor at day 38 to break through the other side, but it felt good when I did. I spent the rest of the day making it look pretty until it got dark, and I got scared. There's a massive birch forest on the other side. This is going to be a pretty cool road. Originally, I went with this stair design, but eventually I do scrap that and go straight across. And at the end of day 39, I was kind of wondering what I got myself into here. You gotta understand, I'm on day 40. This is the longest I've lived in a hardcore yet, at least when recording this series. In almost all of my deaths, I get bored, try something risky, and die, so I really want to avoid that here. And keeping myself busy with a massive road project seemed like a good idea at the time. Well, I always make time to go back and check on my cows. Day 41, I built a simple birch home on the other side of my tunnel. It's a little pit stop. If it gets dark and I'm on the road, I can just sleep here. I have some big plans for this road. I want it to carve through this forest. It's gonna be beautiful. One of the problems I immediately started running into is there is a lot of trees in this forest. Just wait, it's gonna take a few days of hard labor and then it'll look great. Can't wait to get up and do the same thing tomorrow. Honestly, I've been living this lumberjack lifestyle for a while now. Clearing trees is no problem, and it actually works out. They'll supply most of the material for this road. Day 44 was pretty much just more of the same. same. Constructing the road, clearing out birch trees. That's pretty much it. But by day 45, it was really starting to come together. This thing is looking pretty nice. This is very dangerous. I should not be doing it. You know, if I didn't have this birch shack, I probably would have died a couple days ago from staying out too late. And by day 46, the bridge was complete. No safety features, but complete. That's what I did on day 47. Made it look a little bit nicer, and also put up some fences to keep the mobs out. Day 48, I started building my shelter on the other side of the bridge. This will be a nice place to come to if I ever get bored of my main compound. But as you can see, even after a whole day of construction, it's not done yet. Yep, still out here day 49 until nighttime putting on the roof. But this was the last step. It's nothing special, but it is a little bit more property for me, and I'm proud that I have it here. We're back in the main camp for day 50, just tending to my crops. Gotta keep those carrot numbers up. I also did a little bit of work on extending my farm. It could never be too big. Food isn't really an issue anymore, but if I ever find a villager town, I need to have a lot of farmland to trade with them. I just worked on it all night peacefully. One of the nice perks of walls. I wasn't recording for the first day 51, but I don't want to confuse you all, so I'm just gonna show you this day 51. I wanted to find the ocean, and I found a big river that was just through this mountain, so all of the real day 51 I was carving through. Boat travel's really nice because it doesn't take up food, and most enemies can't get you if you're in a boat. So yeah, now we're finding the ocean. Something else to keep me busy and not dead. I obviously get distracted easily because day 52 we're already working on icing out the bedroom. It honestly didn't take too long, so I had time to follow the river, hopefully to the ocean. And kind of like when I built that birch shack for working on the road, here I built a swamp shack. I would describe it as cozy. It's very functional. I just ended up mining all night. Now it's been 3 days and I still haven't found the ocean, so I went up a mountain to try to get a better view of the land. I didn't really get much, but it kind of looked like this river might be a good bet if I could connect to it. This is probably the most dangerous thing I've done so far. It was a long night of canal construction, but an uneventful one. By the time I got back to the swamp shack, it was basically morning. But I was right back at it in day 54. This is probably the largest part of man-made river I had to make. And finally, there it is! I can see it! The ocean! It was nighttime though, so I had to be quick. Cobblestone shack. The canal's not totally complete yet though. I'm trying to get one stretch of water connecting my house and the ocean. And as much fun as watching a full day of mining might be, I decided to cut it out, and I'll just show you the completed canal. There's still a couple rough spots, but it's one complete stretch of water all the way to my house. It's nice. I was able to time out the entire trip on day 56, and from my ocean shack all the way back to my house, it only takes about 5 minutes of normal time, or about half a day in Minecraft. But now on day 57, it's finally time to go out into the ocean. There's great loot in the ocean. Ruins, sunken ships like I have here, tons of stuff. I mean, just to show you right here, in this sunken chest, I found a diamond! I also found a treasure map and potatoes, which is awesome. Yeah, me and treasure maps have a pretty interesting past. Here I am, day 25 of another hardcore Minecraft attempt. I bet you can guess what happens. Yep, I was going for a treasure map, and drowned. I was way more careful this time. It meant a lot to me to get this treasure map. Yeah, sure, it took a while, but I found it, and didn't die. Can you see now why I wanted to go to the ocean? Look at all that great loot. Day 58, I found another sunken ship. I'm on a roll here. Honestly, this time around, I was most excited about the little bit of jungle wood. And right as the sun started to set, I found it, the villager town. Day 59, I began by stealing everything I could get my hands on. This one had a brewing stand. Those are insanely hard to come by. Ah, they have cats! Cats! Unfortunately, my inventory's absolutely bursting. I have to make a trip home before I can come back here and get more loot. But you know, when I got back home, I felt like fulfilling another dream of mine. Kinda like the treasure map, this is gonna go back to another hardcore playthrough that I died on. In an old playthrough, I trapped a zombie under my house in this convenient little containment chamber. It also had a lever where you could drown the zombie if you wanted to. And I'm building another one, but this time I want to trap a creeper, so it'll be a little bit more difficult. It took all of day 61 to wire it all up. I said earlier, I'm not that great with redstone. However, by the end of the day, the containment chamber was done, complete with auto drown mode. Day 62, I waited until night to test out my containment chamber with this zombie. They're pretty easy to catch, though I quickly realized that if I try to do this with a creeper, I'll probably end up dead. I went with a safer contraption for getting the creeper in there. Basically, the pressure plate will get him through the fence, and then he can't get back out. I'll walk over this tile, which the creeper can't, obviously, and then I'll get him in there with a bucket of water. But first, we must fish, and for a while, and I'll tell you in the morning why. If I want this creeper to stay alive forever, I'm gonna need a name tag, and you get those from fishing. So I fished for all of day 64, and didn't get a name tag. And guess what? In day 65, we're still fishing. You know, statistically on game 66, it should have dropped already, but hasn't. Yes, I did spend 3 days fishing, but it's peaceful and safe, which is all a hardcore player wants. I'm not just looking for the name tag, there's a couple other rare items that you can get, like a saddle, which will give me horses, but I didn't get any of them! So by nightfall, I gave up. I'm just going back to the ocean. I started off day 69 by getting to know this dolphin. Nice. If you give them fish, they'll take you right to treasure. It's pretty easy. I ended up finding a lot of treasure with this method, and even found a buried treasure map. I was very careful again. I know what happens when you're not. It didn't even take that long, just a little bit of digging, and I found it. It was packed with loot. Look at that thing. There was no way I was gonna sleep on day 69. When the sun came up the next morning, I was already looting another pirate ship. I'm still not done though, looking for treasure, saddles, name tags, really anything. Honestly, at the time, I could tell I was visibly pushing my luck out here in the middle of the ocean. I should probably go home. You know, as I pulled up to my ocean shack, I kinda realized that this thing needs a little redo. Yeah, definitely not safe. I can't even sleep in my bed at night here. Now it's the morning of day 71, and first things first, we have to make this ocean shack a little safer. I found through this playthrough a gate and wall is pretty much all you need. This simple little shack turned out pretty nice. I can fish into the sunset, and I fished all night again. I'm still looking for that name tag, or a saddle. And even though it took a little longer than I thought, on day 72, I finally hooked that name tag. I waited until night to take my river passage home. Remember, it's about 5 minutes, so I was able to skip most of the night doing this. You know, I haven't really gotten a good look at my treasure chest since I started hitting the ocean and fishing a ton. It's getting pretty full of loot. Anyway, now that I'm back home, you gotta know exactly what the first thing I did was. It doesn't really matter. I was just stalling for nighttime, where I'm trying to catch a creeper. And I got him with my expert creeper trapping contraption. However, I forgot a crucial step on how the name tag works, and the creeper exploded, so guess I'll have to try again tomorrow. Creepers don't die in sunlight, so in the morning of day 74, I was actually able to try again. I trapped him easily. That wasn't the hard part. I obviously know what I did wrong now. I'm using the name tag totally incorrectly, but I'm amazed I did this 2 days in a row. So here's what I did wrong. In order to activate a name tag, you have to use an anvil. Then you can rename the name tag, which then renames the creature. I'm gonna name this first creeper Elbaton. Took a little longer than expected, but you gotta remember this was a dream of mine. And now it's real. And because I put a name tag on good old Elbaton, he'll stay there forever, never dying, but sometimes drowning. I guess I need another project now. Huh. Wonder what I could do. Well, of course there's always that. By this point, I realized I'm level 38, and that could be used for a lot of seriously good enchantments. But you gotta have a lot of different items if you want to make a proper enchanting room, and one of those items is sugarcane. I'm not sure how, but I always forget to make a sugarcane farm until I really need it. I also have 0 sugarcane to my name, so I had to go out boating looking for some. Sugarcane grows pretty quickly, so starting off with 30 is gonna be real great for me. I'm not done yet though. Day 77, I was still looking for wild sugarcane. And hopefully while all of that grows, I'll be able to work on another part of my enchanting room. I'm gonna need some obsidian, and I know a spot where I can find some lava in my old mine. I only want to do this once, so I'm gonna mine enough for not only my enchanting table, but also a portal into the nether. But I had no idea I was gonna find some diamonds. Well, I found 1 diamond. Exactly 1 diamond. It's fine. Day 78, I started construction on where my nether portal was going to be. I like it to be in my house and look nice. And by the end of the day, I ran out of my fancy stone, but I think I did a pretty good job anyway. I spent the rest of day 78 psyching myself up to go into the nether. Today's the day to the nether! Oh no! Not a bad spawn point. At least there isn't any lava around. Step 1, I enclosed the portal in cobblestone. This should help to keep the monsters out. I also got some glowstone, which I can use to make some fancy lights. And that's pretty much it. I got scared and went home. You gotta remember, I'm on hardcore. Day 80, my sugarcane farm wasn't at maximum capacity, but it was pretty close. But ultimately, I'm gonna need some more diamonds if I want to make this enchanting table, so it's back to mining. Around the start of day 81, you can check the clock in my inventory, I found an abandoned mine shaft. This is technically a dungeon, which means there'll be loot here, but I'm also gonna be insanely careful. The last thing you want to do in one of these places is get trapped by a creeper in one of these small areas. But if you're gonna find diamonds, this is the place you should probably look. And I found some. Well, just 1 diamond again, and it was guarded by a creeper. I still picked it up. The deeper I go into these mine shafts, the more nervous I end up getting. But as long as I keep finding diamonds, my hope level's going to be at an all-time high. So now it's pretty much the start of day 82. I know I've been underground the whole time, but that's what the clock's for. I've been just insanely lucky. You can see here I had to fight my way through, but there's more diamonds. But again, it was only those 2. Why does it keep doing this to me? My inventory was getting pretty full, and by this time I had found 8 diamonds, so I figured it was time to go back to the surface. I was very safe about the whole procedure. No need to die after you've gone through the dangerous mine shaft. It was still the nighttime of day 82, so I probably shouldn't be out here, but it spit me out right near my canal. So I made a little boat and got home quickly and safely. Day 83, we can just take some time to look at some of my treasures. It's literally full. Yep, keep looking. I know you're jealous. Then I smelted some iron or something boring. Yeah, I know. You just want to look at my treasures. Here, one more time. One crucial ingredient to an enchanting table room is lots of leather, so sorry cows, but I'm gonna have to kill some of you. Listen, with a diamond sword and the correct leverage, there's no pain. And after crying through that experience, I now have everything I need to make some bookshelves. So day 84, I put together my enchanting table. It's not perfect yet, but it's getting there. Currently, the only thing I have enchanted is my shovel because the durability on it was pretty high. I think when my sword and pickaxe run out, I'll enchant those too. I also upgraded my enchanted fishing rod, which really helps a lot with finding rare items. I'm still looking to fish my way to a saddle. I don't have a horse yet, and I really want one. And within 2 minutes, I got a name tag. That's just fine. I fished all night with this enchanted fishing rod. My hope levels were at an all-time high. I fished on day 85 too, mostly because I wanted my sugarcane to grow, so I had to stay nearby. And thanks to my enchanted fishing rod, I finally got my saddle. As you can probably tell, I was very excited, because now it's horse time. But first I wanted to use that name tag I found earlier to add to my creeper collection. This one, I'm gonna name Tors. I didn't even have to use the bucket on Tors. She went into the hole herself. Now that looks cozy. You know, I never anticipated in my wildest dreams that I'd live at this level of luxury. Day 86, I built an incinerator. I have so much trash I gotta get rid of. I put it in the basement behind the stairs, next to my nether portal and creeper chamber. And you know, I made it look pretty nice for a glorified trash can. Also, because my realm is so well connected, I know exactly where to find some planes. And I found a horse. There was another one too. If this one dies, I'm good. Day 87, we're gonna start off the day with a little horse exploring. Horses can't travel across water, but they can go up mountains pretty easily. Look at this thing. This mountain was the only thing blocking my path in this direction. And remember at the start of the video, I said I wanted to move in every direction. And on top of the mountain, I cranked it up to 32 chunks and could definitely see another villager town. So now I'm just working on a simple horse track through the mountain. It doesn't have to be as clean because I'm not going to be doing this on foot, only on a horse. Most of the job and most of day 88 was just clearing trees. I feel like it's the start of the playthrough again. And by day 89, I built a track perfect for horses. I'm not going to do this on foot though. It'd be dangerous. By the end of day 90 though, I was almost done with the entire thing, building the last little leg through the swamp. Yeah, it got dark right as I connected to the villager town, so I figured I'd take the short trek home. It only takes about a minute. And you might notice this is a different horse. Yeah, the other one died. It happened on day 89, I just didn't have the heart to tell you. He fell during construction. That was all that was left of him. It's fine though. He helped. And now I have a great horse road. I'm back in the villager town in game 91, grinding up some of these villagers. If you manage to get one to max level, they can sell you some pretty nice stuff. It's a shame it took me so long to get horses. I could have set up this route forever ago. Because I have a massive farm, by day 92, I was already at master level for one of the villagers. He'll sell me golden carrots or glistening watermelon, which are just so rare. There's a few other villagers I'd like to level up too, but there's no way that's gonna happen with all the zombies running around. But for now, they all seem to be safe inside of the well. It shouldn't take long to fix up this villager town, it just needs a little bit of love. Generations of creeper attacks haven't been kind to it, but I'm here to fix it now. And after the town was certified safe, I let all the villagers out of the well. However, unfortunately, on the way back through my horse road, I was attacked by a skeleton. He didn't do that much damage, but my horse despawned. I'm pretty sure he's still alive, but not certain. I was horseless game 94, so I couldn't really go back to the villager town. Might as well hang out here. I spent a good bit of time constructing my throne room, because every house should have a throne room. Mine is quite comfortable and lavish and has a great view. And you know, for the sunset, there's no better spot. Good news, I found my horse. He wasn't dead like the first one. I only have a little bit more time left, but just enough time to set up a little house in the villager town. With a big enough potato or carrot farm here in town, I could easily get enough emeralds to max out all of the trading villagers. It only took me a day to build, and it's not much, but I think it blends in pretty well next to the other houses. And now if I want, I can sleep amongst the villagers. Nice. Day 96, I worked on my own personal property, and even installed a horse pen so I don't have to tie him up to the well. Day 97, I had to run back to the main camp to get supplies for an iron golem, and I started doing chores, which chewed up my daylight. But I was back in the villager town by day 98, and I brought with me an iron golem. There already was one, but he stays on the edge of town generally, and is pretty useless. Now that the village is saved, last step is setting up a farm so I can exploit them for their resources. And that was pretty much it. I saved the villagers and rode off in style. It was gonna be dark by the time we got home. Perfect for day 100. Immediately when I woke up, I noticed a bunch of pillagers on my property. How did this happen? I was planning on revisiting all of the different areas that I built throughout these 100 days, days, but it looks like this is gonna take a little bit. I don't know how they spawned amongst my animals, but I know several of them are gonna die. That's pretty appropriate for hardcore Minecraft though. This game is pretty unpredictable. Ultimately, I vanquished the loiterers and drank that sweet, sweet white stuff. Now there's no way I'm gonna be able to visit all the different areas I made, but I should honestly just farm. It's probably more useful. And I think for me, at the end of day 100, I think I deserve to watch the sun go down. So here we are, back to the only reality that matters in day 101. The entire compound's the same from the first 100 days, complete with creeper collection. But of course, in these 100 days, we're gonna have to get right to work. We have some serious objectives. I really didn't ask too much of myself on the first 100 days. The only objective was to not die. But now with most of my infrastructure set up, it's pretty easy to survive, so I'm setting my sights a little bit higher. Mark my words, by the end of this 200 days, the Ender Dragon will be killed and I will have beaten Minecraft. But until then, we gotta do some farming. Well, farming, mining, exploring, killing, tons of stuff. It's gonna be a great 100 days. And here it looks like day 101's just about over. Very productive, but still a lot more to do. Day 102 began with the clearing of more land. I need to make tons of space for a farm. Using only carrots, I can employ this entire town for their entire life. They're not very smart. I have the carrots, so I make the laws. I worked all day again. Only 98 more days until my date with the Ender Dragon. Sorry, still working on the farm, but if anything, it should show you how important it is. However, no farm is complete without a wall to surround it. Yep, I'm gonna build a giant wall again. I honestly think it's one of the only reasons I'm still alive. I doubt this one will have 3 different layers, but one good stone one is all you need. For now, the villagers are safe inside of the well, but I'll never feel safe until I have a completed wall, so I went to bed early again. But day 104, we're back at it, building the most important structure in my entire town. I think I've survived so long because I try to take those extra safety steps, like wall building. Sure, it might take a while, but once this wall is set up, I'll feel a lot better hanging out in this town. And this time at night, instead of sleeping, I just stood perfectly still in one spot so my crops could grow. I am dead set on finishing this wall before I do anything else. I'm gonna spend a lot of time in this town. Can't have creepers creeping up on me. Construction was going pretty good until I ran into this hilly portion of the villager town. I'll get through it, but it was definitely easier to build walls on flat land. And again, I chewed up all of day 105 just constructing my wall. Time well spent. It's a little better, but you can tell there's tons of dark spots throughout this entire town. Still pretty dangerous. But you know, these crops are looking mighty scrumptious. Day 106, I heard some nagging zombies underneath the town, so I figured I'd go check it out. There's basically a small cave system underneath this town, and that allows zombies to spawn. I guess in theory they don't really hurt anyone, but I should probably get rid of these mobs anyway. Like my frog from 2nd grade, I'll cover it with dirt and pretend it doesn't exist. And then there was nothing else better to do, so I just worked on some more wall. By this point, I'd say about 70% of it's done, so zombies can still get in, but they can only come in from one angle, so it's pretty easy to defend. And for day 107, I could show you another full day of wall construction, but I doubt you want to see that by this point, so we can skip to the sunset and a completed wall. But the real test will be at night. I'm looking for any dark spots and I'm gonna fill them with light, but I'm pretty good at building walls and securing areas, so I really didn't run into any problems tonight. No mob spawns in the town this time. So in the morning of day 108, I figured there's nothing better to do than farm. Eventually, I'll be able to sell my crops to these villagers, but I've never done this before and I really don't know how the whole system works, so this is gonna take a little bit of figuring out. But until then, nothing will go to waste. I'll just stockpile my crops in this chest. I also need a couple more things back at the main camp, so I'm gonna take my horse road home. And now stocked up on supplies I left at night to make it back to the villagers. It's heavily nighttime, but thanks to my wall, I can work on my subordinates in peace. I know for an absolute fact that there's probably a better way to do this, but I don't know how to do that, so my way's gonna have to work. And now it's technically the next day, but I was so focused on getting these villagers to work that I actually forgot to stop the recording. So we'll just say day 108 was an extra long day. Whatever. Now it's day 109 and I'm just trying to get these villagers to go in these huts that they'll stay in their entire lives. So far with my menial knowledge of villager occupations, I was able to get a master farmer and a toolsmith. But remember, I don't know much about the villagers. These green ones are actually called nitwits and can't learn a profession, so I wasted my time on him. However, I wasted no time at night, doing one final check to make sure that everything is covered by light. And hey, the crops are looking scrumptious again. So on the morning of day 110, I went straight to my favorite thing, farming. But I won't be selling them this time, I'll be reinvesting to make the farm even larger. And after 10 days, this village is really starting to come together. Look how comfy that guy looks. Hey, it's day 111. I don't know why I'm excited, but I am. Though pretty much immediately, I went back to the main camp. I gotta grab a few more things. One of them was wool, and even though my sheep farm is in violation of several health codes, it still produces. I needed the wool to make beds to make a villager spawner, which of course I've never made before. It pretty much chewed up the entire day, and it never worked. Awesome. And it's not like I didn't try
Hi, here's day 112. I read all of Google. I even gave them food. They never spawned. Looking back, I'm almost certain it's because the room they're in is too small. Whatever, if you're not gonna breed for me, I guess you'll be imprisoned there for eternity. These villagers weren't a complete waste though. I was able to get a toolsmith to master and he'll sell me a diamond pickaxe for 23 emeralds. So now, thanks to my investments, I can basically turn carrots into diamonds. And with how big my farm is over here, that pretty much means I have unlimited diamonds. Sort of. And now on day 113, I'm going into the nether. Gotta keep you on your toes. I really haven't done anything in the nether since the first time I came here, and that was pretty brief. But if I'm gonna beat the game, I have to explore the nether, even though I don't want to. Even though I'm in the nether, I'm gonna try to make this as safe as possible, though I'm not gonna cut any corners. It might take a little bit of effort, but I feel the best way to travel through the nether is tunneling. And if I place cobblestone along the floor of the tunnel, nothing should spawn in here. I hope. Your days can get a little weird down in the nether, but now it's day 114 in the real world. And it took a while, but by day 115, I found what I was looking for, the nether fortress. I impishly stepped inside and even found some diamond horse armor. But while getting a lay of the land, I was attacked by a wither skeleton. I bonked him with my shovel and ran away. And I didn't stop running until I made it home. Now it's day 116, at least I think, and I'm gonna redo my nether portal. I didn't change that much, but I figured a portal to the underworld should have some style. But it'll be a little bit before we go back into the nether. It's a very dangerous place and I want to make sure I'm prepared. So I went back to the village and started construction on my diamond mine. I wanted to keep the exterior simple so it would blend in with the villagers. And I think I did an okay job. This is the part where most YouTubers would have 3 episodes of their Minecraft series dedicated to mining, but I can just snap it away. Aren't you glad you're watching the best Minecraft series on YouTube? I am. I constructed this mine to find diamonds, and I won't stop until I have enough for some diamond armor. And so far it was going pretty good. By the end of day 118, I had 14 diamonds. You know, I don't normally like to mine with a diamond pickaxe, but because I can buy them from villagers, this time I'm going with it. Then finally on day 120 with this massive chunk of diamonds, I should have enough for some diamond armor. I'm also incredibly lucky none fell in this lava. Not bad. Only took me about 3 days and I've got full diamond armor. I don't have enough experience to enchant the full set, but at this point I'm just looking for one of these items to have some sort of fire protection. So now with some flame resistant boots, I'm back in the nether. One of the first things I did when I got back to the nether fortress is I installed this iron golem. I'm not really sure how helpful he'll be, but it's a good peace of mind. I also lucked out and found nether wart and soul sand, both very useful items. But I'm primarily down here because I have to kill blazes. That's what these creatures are. And somehow, I really don't even know how I got this lucky. I found an entire blaze spawn. This is likely the most dangerous situation I've been in this entire series. Great! I really took my time with this thing. In my wildest dreams, I'd love to have an efficient blaze farm, but I know I'm not good enough for that. Understand that I'm not really sure what I'm doing, but I also have really good diamond enchanted anti-fire armor, so these things can't really hurt me. It took some serious elbow grease to build this thing, but once it was done, I had a nice enclosure with the blaze spawn. The final product isn't very complicated. You can see it's made of mostly dirt, but it does work. Somehow, that all just went perfectly according to plan. When I emerged from the nether, it was nighttime, so I guess we're just gonna call this whole thing day 125. Now those blazes drop blaze rods, which are turned into blaze powder, and then when added with an ender pearl, make an Eye of Ender, which is part of the end game. The Eye of Ender will help you find the end fortress, which is where you have to go to beat the ender dragon and beat the game. However, I almost immediately lost one of my Eye of Ender and burned down this forest in anger. Don't worry, there's about 1,000,000 more steps to beat Minecraft, and somehow chickens is part of it. I'm not sure how, but it took me 126 days to spawn an iron golem in my compound. There was also one of these traveling traders who showed up, and he was gonna sell nautilus shells. I know they're important for something. Too bad I left all my money in the diamond mine. Gotta go grab that. I didn't want to miss out on this trader, so I went right back, and he was still there. Using a heart of the sea and nautilus shells, I was able to make a conduit. I'm not really sure what it's for, but I know it's important. For now, we're just gonna throw it in the treasure chest though, and maybe come back to it if we get to 300 days. You know, one thing I've never really been proud of is my horse road. I know it's a horse road, but it should look a little nice, come on. And while I've never really had any problems with it, it's only a matter of time before a creeper creeps his way on it. So I'm installing some safety features. Yeah, who knows, maybe with enough work, this won't just be a horse road. It could be a people road. I worked all day on this side of the road, and at night, I added more lights to my main compound. You can never have enough. Day 128, I'm out here laboring, cleaning up the hilly portion of my horse road. I know in the past I've said it's not about vanity, but it's totally all about vanity. At night, I ran into an enderman, which is convenient, because they drop ender pearls, and I need those to beat the game. But he didn't drop one. I'm gonna sleep with the villagers for tonight, and then in the morning, I'll work on the horse road from this side. The villager side of the road is just way worse, mostly due to lack of public funding. I'm pretty sure I also built a good portion of it at night frantically, so that's never good. Kinda like that old birch road I spent 20 days on and never used, I'm gonna have this thing carved through the swamp. And by nighttime, I wasn't near done, but at least I can dismantle this old ugly piece of road. I'll have to do a little bit of work here on day 130, but you can obviously tell that this road is much better already. Yeah, the bridge is done, but it definitely doesn't look good on the other side. I guess we can skip to the nighttime of day 131, where it still looks pretty meh. I don't know. know. There's a lot of work to do here. By day 132, I got the road to a point where it was pretty safe, but I started to run out of walls. So I guess I'll work on the mountain portion of the road then. This is easily the most hazardous section. I've lost a horse here. I kind of installed a big dirt net under the bridge, so if I fall, I'll hit this instead of the ground. And I don't really have too many plans for up on top of the mountain, but I definitely want to put some more lights up here so skeletons don't spawn anymore. I worked until the sun came up. I'm sort of getting tired of it. And I wasn't recording, but now I have a cat, so there's that. You didn't really miss out on much. I pretty much just finished up the horse road. Now I'm gonna start another project right near the villager town. It shouldn't take too long. That is, if this cat wasn't following me. I'm gonna handle this man. I decided to be nice to the little guy and give him his own house. That's more than a lot of the villagers in this town. And I worked on my mystery construction until nighttime, so I should probably go home. I don't really know why I'm pretending this is some secret. I'm just building a simple watchtower near the village. I was hoping that during the nighttime I'd be able to use this thing to fight Endermen. The plan didn't really work, but at least I have an amazing view of the village. And way out there in the distance, that might be another villager town. And even though my excitement was at an all-time high, before we do anything, we have to watch the sunrise. It wasn't even really that far of a walk to get to this town. Nice. The first thing I noticed is that this village is doing great. They even have children. Whoa! So the first thing I did, and the first thing you should always do, is lock all of these men in their houses immediately. It's as easy as ringing a bell, and then once the villagers go inside their houses, you lock them in there forever. And it was a long day, but I know all of these villagers are important. I actually care about their lives. But as you can tell, on the morning of day 136, it's obviously pretty dangerous over here, so we're gonna have to do some wall building. Thing is, my inventory's kind of packed right now, and I don't really have a main camp over here. So I'm gonna have to go back and get some supplies, but I don't have to worry about these villagers because they're all imprisoned for eternity. And this is just perfect. My stonks, the dividends! So before we head out on day 137, I'm gonna turn these carrots into emeralds. And I'm really hoping with this clean slate town, I'll be able to do a little bit more with some of the villager professions. One of the things I definitely need is a cleric, and I happen to have 2 of them. If you level them up high enough, you can buy ender pearls from them, so there's no need to kill endermen. Nice. The cleric's really the only one I care about, but I also happen to have a bunch of blank villagers as well, so I can get tons of different professions. Yeah, we've opened up another can of hard labor on ourselves, but you know, give us maybe 10 days and this thing should look great. Step 1 is create a farm. If I don't have any food, then I can't tax my citizens. This farm I wanted to not only be functional, but also look a little nice and have a little bit of an automated feature as well. But I don't know how it's already dark. I got like nothing done today. Though I wasted no time on day 139, this farm is really starting to come together. I said I wanted some automated features in this farm as well. It's not going to be too complicated or anything, but you'll see. However, before I could finish it, my eternal clock, the sun, told me to go to bed. Very early on day 140, I was able to finish up the farm, and I was even able to finish up the conveyor belt running underneath it. Now, when I harvest these crops, any that fall in the water on either side will be delivered to one simple spot underground, and all without redstone. We're also going to change up our wall building technique. I've got so much dark wood over here, I might as well make fences. It got dark, but now it's the next day. That's generally how it tends to work. Luckily for me, this town is pretty flat, so I was able to lay down a ton of fences in no time. And just like that, I'm about 10,000% more at ease. It's still a lot of area though, despite it being pretty flat, so this might take another day. Yep, just had to throw a couple more touches on the wall in day 142. This town really has seen far less bloodshed than the other one. It might actually turn out to be a good community. I think when this is all said and done, I'll probably build a proper house here, but I don't really have time for that right now. But my hard work's paying off already. My economy is booming. I even persuaded this cleric to sell me some ender pearls, which is really the whole reason I came here. Then at night, on my way back to the first villager town, I upgraded my horse. My other horse was terrible, but I didn't realize until I rode this pixelated steed. And by the morning of day 143, I had basically made it back to the main camp. I'm mostly just here to check on my pumpkins. I had never grown them before. Also gotta breed the chickens. All 10,000 of them. I asked Tors and Elbaton if they wanted anything. They said they were good. All I did, literally all I did day 144 was farm. I have so much farmland, it literally takes that long. However, my hard work paid off the very next day. I had 45 emeralds and went on a shopping spree at the cleric. Now that I have 12 Eye of Enders, I should be able to find the end fortress, but the sun isn't that high in the sky, so I should probably try tomorrow. And that's exactly what I did in day 146. I rode out into the great unknown, looking for the end. I found another town in a spruce forest and quickly stole all of their property. I rode all day and didn't find anything. It was dumb of me to think this was gonna be easy. And since I can't sleep, I just packed up in a tiny little shack and stood there all night, like a normal person. And on day 147, thanks to my Eye of Ender, I was right above the Ender portal. I'm about 2,000 blocks from the main camp, so I decided to make my own little dirt shack over here until I found the end. I've got to dig through an entire mountain though, so this is gonna be a little difficult. Technically, early on day 148, I found the end portal, and the first step was to build a convenient ladder right to it. It took all day, but now I can go straight from my dirt shack to the end. And now I'm home. Huh. I used my compass and wasn't recording. Anyway, now I know exactly where the end of the game is, so I can truly focus on preparing for the Ender Dragon. I've never killed the dragon before, especially on hardcore, so I'm gonna grab everything I could possibly need for this fight. The chickens were for feathers, this gravel is for flint, there's so many different things, it's gonna take a while. Yeah, it's gonna take a while, but it's also gonna require some serious resources, so on day 150, I went back to farming. I feel like that's pretty much all I do. And then right before bed, I gave my horse a golden carrot, for no reason at all. I will be moving between these two towns though, so on day 151, I constructed a tunnel and horse road between the two. It really didn't take that long, basically about half a day and I was done. The whole road is essentially 3 arches. Very simple, only for a horse. Maybe for a guy in daytime if I forgot something. And at night, I burned down the forest to make room for my road. I'm sure the local townspeople won't mind. The next morning, I discovered a large cave right next to the horse road. I didn't explore it or anything, just covered it up. Like all my problems. Yeah, I essentially spent the entire day fixing little problems that no one would notice but me. Also, my cleric isn't selling me ender pearls and I have no idea why. I'm not an expert at this stuff. Whatever, I'll figure it out tomorrow. Tonight I'm sleeping in the castle. Hey, look at me, clearing trees again on day 153. That must mean I'm up to something. It is another road. There are many like it, but this one will definitely be the longest. For now, I did the math, and if I extend this road 2,000 blocks in one direction, it will lead exactly to where my ender portal is. I'm setting up a hard supply line for not only the ender dragon, but also all the things that come after the ender dragon. If you guys want to see 300 days, and I know you probably do, this road has to exist. And you know it's going to take a little bit, but honestly, it might be the most important thing I've built this entire series. Don't worry, the plan isn't to have one long section of road that would obviously just take tons of materials. It's kind of going to be in little strips. This is probably the most designed section of it. I was just lucky to have this tree there. This is a road that probably will never look nice, and I'm okay with that. I just love the idea that I could maybe one day cleanly go from my main compound, like the starting one, all the way to the end, easily by a road. But I almost immediately ran into the problem of mountains. And in my opinion, I think in this scenario, it's a little bit easier to just tunnel on through. So yeah, we just added more work. But like I said earlier, this tunnel is probably the most important work of my entire life, Minecraft or otherwise. And hey, it may have been a tiny bit faster if I did this whole thing across flat ground, but honestly the tunnel's probably a little safer. But I may have to start sleeping inside of the tunnel now. Running back home took quite a while. Day 157 is mostly what you see here, just mining away at some rock. If anything, it made the construction process a little mindless, which is good when you're going 2,000 blocks. Now the absolute best feeling was when I got a big chunk of dirt and I could just zap right through with my enchanted diamond shovel. You gotta find some way to entertain yourself when all you do is mine. Oh yeah, I don't know about you guys, but I sleep great in this drafty tunnel. The only rare thing I ever ended up finding to break up the monotony was coal, and I'm telling you, they felt like diamonds. And by the end of day 160, I had broken through to a swamp, so no more tunneling, at least for now. Oh no, we're not done yet. There's still about 700 blocks to go. Again, the plans for this road were gonna change on the fly. I didn't really know exactly what terrain I was gonna be crossing. Right now, we're going over a swamp. Though I did get a ton done today, as you can see, this road is pretty long now. I only had to place one block at a time. Yeah, that was nice while it lasted, but now we're back to a hilly region. The end portal's in a mountain, remember? I am getting really close though. That narrow, dangerous section over the water really helped. Though if my math is correct, on the morning of day 163, I was right by the end portal. I mean, gotta build a bridge over this ravine first, but I'm almost there. Hey look, just as I remember it, the terrible little dirt shack. But before I do anything, I want to finish up that little last section right up to the shack. And that's it. I've connected my main compound that I spawned at for day 1 all the way to a shack in the end portal. I've come a long way in 163 days. Day 164, I took the road back, and even just to get to that second villager town, it still takes over half a day. But now I can run supplies safely between my main compound and the end portal, so I can set myself up for the Ender Dragon and what comes after it. Speaking of supplies, now it's time to do my favorite thing. No, actually the favorite thing happened on day 165. I spent most of the day looking up what I needed to kill the Ender Dragon, so I had to go to bed early. Alright, I have a confession. I've played Minecraft for like 10 years, and I've never brewed a potion. Never, not once. You can generally find some helpful tips on YouTube if you can get past the terrible dubstep intros. I don't want to explain it, because I still don't totally understand it, and I'll probably have to look it up again when I have to make more potions. But I was able to learn the brewing process, and by the end of the day, had upgraded potions of slow falling. I also set aside a designated chest for everything I'm going to take into the end portal. I'm gonna go as full kit as possible. I was just busy all day learning new things. Time got away from me, and I had to go to bed. Then on day 167, I wasted no time and took my horse road back to the second far villager town. Oh, and I farmed along the way. Gotta pay my mortgage. The cleric still isn't selling me ender pearls. I have no idea why. I even moved him into my own house. I thought maybe he was feuding with the other guy. Well, listen, buddy, we're gonna figure this one out. The easy way or the starvy way. Day 168 is mostly gonna be about preparation. Tomorrow's a big one. I mostly just worked on some of the other villagers. Here I'm leveling up the butcher. I really wasn't sure what the villagers were gonna give me at max level, but in my experience, if you get them to master, there's always something that's worth your while. I also started then completed construction of a large L right outside the town. The cleric still wasn't selling me anything, but I went to bed excited because now it's day 169. And to start it off, I decided I was going to ride my see-through horse. Oh, it's very slow. Almost like it's the ghost of my first horse. Alright, now you know what I'll really be doing. I also had to brew a second diamond sword. Yeah, that's right, 2 diamond swords. I need one with sharpness. My current one has smite, and that won't help me with the ender dragon. Though I got a little greedy, and as soon as I saw looting 2, I clicked enchant. This thing won't help me for the ender dragon, but it's still a useful sword. I gotta go to bed early though. I gotta check on my cleric in the morning. I miss him. It took a very long time to get back to L-Town. I hope you all know I paid for that see-through horse joke. Hey, what do you know? Doing absolutely nothing. Didn't fix a thing. So most of the footage is me just standing still while I look up what is wrong with you. It's probably because the brewing stand wasn't on the floor, but then when I tried to move it, he got out. This is just becoming a day. All right. Hopefully that works. I won't know until tomorrow. I'm getting very close to killing him. Village security gave me this diamond sword and told me to use it on anyone that looks suspicious. I basically just bummed around in the town a little bit until my cleric would sell me some ender pearls. Nice, I fixed him. And by the end of the day, I was going back into the nether. Woohoo! I needed more blaze rods. Luckily, I built a blaze spawner. It's not the most efficient, and it's a little bit dangerous, but like I said earlier, I've got pretty good armor for this. Maybe one day, if I get some talent, I can turn this into a proper blaze farm. But for now, I'm just slapping these guys with my diamond sword until they die. I mean, even if you look at my health, I'm not taking that much damage. And by the end of what my soul perceived as day 172, I had 24 blaze rods, and that's enough for me. The next day, day 173, I worked on getting some flint to make some arrows. My ancestors recommend about 4 stacks. And I was also able to get that diamond sword with sharpness, which will really help for the ender dragon. It's not perfect. Fire doesn't help me at all, but it's fine. I did quite a few chores on day 174. It's fine, I don't even really mind. I also noticed that my master level cleric would give me 1 emerald for 8 glass bottles, and that's a pretty good deal. For this trade, the math works out that 8 blocks of sand equals 1 emerald, and that's insane. I told you about these master level villagers. They can turn some serious profits. It's just nice to be able to work on multiple money-making methods throughout the day. You know, while I'm farming up this sand, I'm making money, but my crops are also growing, which makes me more money. And I never thought digging up some sand with a shovel could get complicated, but you know, by the end of day 175, I had pretty much mastered it. Oh yeah, you feel that blood in your nose? That's the smell of industry. I got a little supply hungry on day 176, but I was finding a good amount of clay, which I can use to make some dandy-looking brick. And of course, the sand turns a massive profit, so I'm going for that too. I'm gonna use this sand to get emeralds from the cleric, and eventually, I'll own the entire town. Then the real profits begin. By the end of the day, I couldn't even sell all the glass bottles that I made. I netted 12 emeralds, and then he ran out of stock. I already had a lot of money, but on day 177, I farmed and made even more. I mean, I need a lot of money though. There's a lot of villagers that I haven't even begun to upgrade, like this weaponsmith. But the newly installed Fletcher might just be the best one yet. He can sell me arrows, bows, all kinds of stuff. You know, for a couple emeralds, he got me almost 3 stacks of arrows and saved a lot of chickens' lives. The rest of the day was just spent looking at the weird stuff some of these villagers want, like dried kelp blocks. Day 178, I noticed my butcher wanted some mutton, and I happen to know a whole family of mutton. I had quite a lot of sheep though. If you'll believe it, this is the flock after I killed 64 of them. I think I might have killed too many cows though. Whoops. After that excruciatingly painful day, I went to bed early, but didn't sleep at all because of the nightmares. My endgame chest is definitely starting to look good though on day 179. However, I'm a little addicted to these villagers, so I got a little sidetracked. I got my shepherd to master, which is pretty useless. He just sells you paintings, but that's not terrible, I guess. Didn't really do anything else. Oh, and a zombie got in. I'm not sure how, but he's dead now. I know I already said I got my shepherd to master, but I have this other shepherd that I'm trying to rebrand. It took a long time, but at least I locked him in, which is pretty much the hardest part. Yeah, it was already night by the time I put down his brand new stone cutter. Oh, and zombies are still getting in. Why? Sometimes this works right away, sometimes it takes a while, and sometimes it doesn't work at all. Whatever, I had a little bit of fun on day 181. I had 24 paintings and created my National Museum of Art. I'm also gonna expand that L. I know I called it L-Town in passing earlier, but that wasn't official. What's better than an L, you ask? Maybe an LTN. Not bad, huh? The morning of day 182, I started by cleaning up the front entrance to this town. Remember, kids, care about your appearance. Everyone cares what you look like. There was also a small hill in front
front of the LTN that I deleted to make the view better. There was quite a lot of sand at the front entrance, and that's actually profitable for me, so I replaced it with dirt. Sure, it's not perfect, but it looks a bit nicer, and it's definitely safer. I was proud of all the improvements I made. It definitely looks better, especially at night. So I just stood on top of this hay bale and clonked zombies all night. After a quick morning of farming and consumerism on day 183, I went back to the first villager town. You know, that town that was pretty cool, but then I forgot about it completely when I found a cooler town? There is one good thing about this town. I've got a toolsmith that I leveled up to master, so I can buy diamond tools from him. Yeah, but then later I almost totally lit my house on fire, which would have been bad. It's made of mostly wood. That was pretty much all I wanted to do that day, but I ended up getting a pretty nice shot of this town's skyline. Day 184, I realized there's no way these townsfolk will recognize my greatness unless I build a throne. You might be sitting there at home thinking that I'm just stalling fighting the Ender Dragon, and you're right, but at least I'm being creative about it. Sorry, local businesses, looks like your land belongs to me now. Like any good throne of an oppressor, this one needs to have fire. You know, if that doesn't hold up my authority, I don't know what will. Oh, and you gotta know it's really, really comfy. Yeah, even from over here, I feel very oppressed. You know what's weird? Day 185, I realized one of my blank villagers became a stonemason. Whatever, this works, I guess. I wanted one because they'll sell you fancy stone, like these bricks or chiseled stuff. Yeah, I'm so rich I went all the way from novice to master in one day, and he'll sell me blocks of polished quartz, so I can get real fancy. So at night, I left on the long road to my end shack to polish it up a little bit. This area is pretty embarrassing. All there is a dirt shack and a ladder all the way to the end. I really like using bricks, so you have to understand I was having a ton of fun with this. I go through those pillars to get to the end. It looks pretty cool, right? I don't know, I think it is. I also carved out a pretty uninteresting basement. This is where I'll make room for some storage and maybe a bed. And by the end of the day, it was mostly done, but I still got a few more things to do. I dismantled the good old dirt shack on day 187. It served us well, and we will always remember him. And then the rest of the day was just spent making the end shack look nicer. And I think I did a pretty good job. Fire always helps. Then by the end of the day, we had a respectable base that looked nice and had a bed in the basement, which is all I really need. But I still need a few more things before I fight the Ender Dragon, and one is iron. Diamonds would help too. Honestly, I didn't really find much. Like 2 iron, definitely no diamonds. A lot of coal though. I'll be sleeping here for the night, but I'll definitely have to get back to my diamond mine. Well, I guess checking the ravine won't hurt. I was very careful, mostly just tunneled through the side of the ravine and used math to find the iron. I'm gonna raise an army of iron golems to fight the Ender Dragon, so I'm gonna need this iron. It really wasn't that dangerous, especially since it was the daytime, and my smite sword makes these zombies die in one hit. I left with a ton of daylight and 56 iron, so it was totally worth my time. Alright, it's the last 10 days. We're fighting the Ender Boy on day 200, so let's settle our affairs. You can tell I got right to mining. Still gotta find that iron, maybe some diamonds too. I happen to have a villager that'll buy my smooth stone, so I'm actually profiting the whole time I'm mining down here. And I've got a fortune pickaxe, which can multiply my diamonds, so I got a ton pretty fast. By the end of the day, I had 32 diamonds, but it didn't feel like I had nearly as much iron. Now I'm back in the main camp, consolidating some of my rarest items into stuff that'll help me fight the Ender Dragon. This is the first time I'd ever built an Ender chest. You can't even really use them unless you have a Silk Touch pickaxe like my boy Tim here. It's essentially an extended inventory that you can use in emergencies, so this is gonna be perfect for the Ender Dragon. The rest of the day I just got organized. With how I keep my chests, it took a while. The entirety of day 192 was spent brewing potions. I filled up my Ender chest with all the potions I was gonna take, so now I gotta make duplicates. It took all day, but I also messed around a little. I made a water breathing potion here. Anyway, I'm going back to VT1 at night. Yeah, for day 193, this is pretty much the only frame I have to show you. And you know it was a good one. The next day I found a real skeleton spawner though. This is awesome. I can convert this. I even took the time to open up my Ender chest, grab my Silk Touch pickaxe, Tim, and mine the spawner. But it didn't work. I was so sad. Then day 195, I pretty much just got lost in a cave. But at least there were resources down there. I've got a surplus on diamonds, redstone, pretty much everything I need. But iron is so scarce right now. I don't know how. I know I said I was lost, but I just waited until the sun was high in the sky and then followed my compass home. Haha, I knew this bridge would have a point one day. I spent the rest of the night frantically rummaging through all my treasures. I'm spending day 196 trying to get the absolute perfect enchants. I'm trying to get a hold of some anti-fall damage boots. My forefathers have highly recommended them. I'm sorry, chickens. I'm just gonna need a little more XP. Well, I didn't get the perfect enchantment, but I got Protection 3, which will help at least a little. I also would have really liked an Infinity Bow, that's another enchantment, but I guess 4 stacks of arrows will work just as good. Hey, and look at me, I'm taking my horse road as a people road. Good thing I put in those safety features. Day 197, I spent all day moving mountains of stone between the villagers. I was getting so rich I had to put a sizable amount of my money in blocks. This village it definitely saved me. I don't know what I would do without this village. No way I'd be this prepped for the Ender fight. It's not over yet though. I feel I've only scratched the surface. This world is pretty massive. I kinda just loitered around the town all day looking for little things I needed to fix. I really care about this place. But as you can tell, I'm getting my inventory pretty cleaned out. It's almost time. I purposely set aside day 199 to be all about prep. I wanted to make sure I got this right, so I took a full day. I checked and then double checked and then checked a third time just to make sure I had everything I needed. And I'm just gonna freeze frame it here. This is everything I'm taking in. My inventory and my ender chest on top. I was pretty certain I didn't forget a single thing. And by the end of day 199, I'm ready. At least ready as I'll ever be. And I woke up early on day 200 and checked my inventory for the 10th time. It was definitely a lot of work to get here. I mean, you just watched it. But when that end portal opened up, it was all worth it. Though when I tried to get a closer look, I accidentally fell in. Judge me if you will, but I'm going with the very simple strategy of putting a pumpkin on my head. I'll show you why in a sec. I know it's a little hard to see, but there are a bunch of Endermen in the Ender Dragon fight, and if I looked at any of them without this pumpkin mask, they'd attack me. The pumpkin head allows me to disregard the Endermen and worry most about the Ender Dragon. First step is destroying the crystals on top of these obsidian pylons, and you always want to start with the two that have iron cages. Of course, it's pretty dangerous to go up this high, but because you have that potion of slow falling, once you destroy that thing, you can just jump off. The rest of the crystals can be easily handled with an arrow shot if you're good. I brought extra ender pearls because you can teleport with them, and with the potion of slow falling, there's really no chance of death, but honestly, they weren't that easy to use. Anyway, once you destroy all that stuff, he'll land in the middle, and this is where the easiest part of the fight comes along. All you gotta do is go behind him and hit his tail repeatedly. It's really not hard. You can also shoot him in the air, which was pretty easy. Just always remember to redose on your potion of slow falling. Here, for about 20 seconds, I wasn't covered. But that doesn't matter, as now I've successfully killed the Ender Dragon. It really wasn't that hard. I definitely had enough gear for it. If I died, it would have been over, so I had to put every little bit of focus into this fight, and it turned out perfectly. I went from level 29 to level 69 and got myself a dragon egg. It was definitely a good day. But you see that thing in the distance there? That's what we're doing next. So now it's day 201, we're all caught up, and I've got to run back to my compound to resupply. You kind of beat Minecraft when you kill the Ender Dragon, but there's still a lot more stuff you can do. This game is massive. I'm gonna try to beat Minecraft and 100% all of the achievements by the end of 300 days. And if I don't get that, at the very least, we'll fight the Wither on day 300, so you can look forward to that. But at this point, I'm just excited about my carrot stonks. And it took almost a whole day, but now I'm back at the end shack. We've got to finish up some business here. And now we're back in the end. This is the place where I fought the Ender Dragon, and time's a little weird down here, but it's certified day 202. My iron golems never stopped fighting those Endermen. You can see he's hard at work here. Several of them died, and I made a memorial that will stay here for all time. One of the first things I did was create a tunnel from the spawn so I don't get attacked by any Endermen. This tunnel leads all the way to another end portal. It's very safe. That's how I like to do things on hardcore. So now on day 203, if I look at this end portal and throw an ender pearl into it, it will transport me to the end. The real end. You gotta know the first thing I did was install several safety features. Yeah, sure, it takes a little longer, but I prefer to do it the safe way. This is hardcore. If I die, it's over. And by the end of what I can only assume was day 203, I had a completed tunnel. You know, if you think about it, this tunnel goes all the way back to my main compound through several different roads. And this road's only gonna get longer. I'm tunneling my way through most of the end. You can't tunnel the whole way through though. Most of the end is a dark abyss. And for that, I'll use this ender cheese that I got from tunneling to construct long roads. This is likely my most dangerous infrastructure so far, but you don't need permits in the end, so I'm up to code. I apologize for looking at the ground so much. I've got to avoid eye contact with these endermen or women, but that thing in the distance is what we came here for, an end fortress. It's really dangerous, as you can obviously see. If you get hit with one of those projectiles, you get stuck with the levitate effect. Normally it's very dangerous, but I was able to use it to my advantage here. Once inside, I just played it very safe, using dirt and my trusty pickaxe Tim to mine my way through. And once I figured out how to kill these things, this place was a breeze. Violence and brute force is always the answer. This is a smaller end fortress, but I was still able to get some pretty good loot. Tons of gold, emeralds, and 4 diamonds. But on day 205, we're back to tunneling. The real prize still awaits. It didn't even take too long. About 10 minutes later, I found a real ender fortress. Now this one's large, like really large. There's a lot of ground to cover and a lot of ways to die. It's absolutely gorgeous though. If this place wasn't so dangerous, I'd live here one day. But that thing's what I'm here for, the end ship. And if you look inside of the ship's hull, you'll find the legendary Elytra. The entire reason we came here was to get the Elytra, and now we have it, and it's only day 205. And of course, I didn't forget to mine the dragon head on the front of the ship, and as you can obviously see, it was all worth it. Nothing like possessing the head of your enemies. I'm just gonna tell you right now, day 206 involves a lot of traveling through the void and on a horse, and eventually back home. Last thing I did before bed was deck out the treasure room, and now it's day 207, where I'm chopping down trees, just like old times. Though this time around, instead of a stone axe, I have an enchanted diamond one. Because I can chop a lot faster now, I had all the wood I needed for my next project. It's just a very simple pillar made out of wood that goes all the way to max height. I couldn't even really get a good view even when I cranked it up to 32 chunks. The Elytra's a flying device, and I had never used one before, and I figured this was probably the best time to try it out. And now it's time for our first Elytra flight test. From all the way at max height, I'm gonna try to fly into the villager town. I had no idea where I was going. Nothing really rendered. Awesome! I flew way far away from home, and now I have no idea where I am,
time and it's dark out. I wasn't worried for a second, I had my trusty compass. We're gonna give it another shot on day 208. I gotta put the ladders on here anyway. This time I flew a little closer to the ground and was able to get my bearings and make it all the way to L-Town, easily. And then of course I quickly got to work on installing another airport. I can use that airport to glide all the way from L-Town to my main compound, even over these mountains. And you know, there's just something beautiful about my base from the sky. However, the Elytra's already at half health, which is definitely not beautiful. On the morning of day 209, I wasted no time and used my trusty bucket to catch a fish for an achievement. I'm not sure why anyone would want to do this for any other reason than the achievement, but you know, it's there. The Minecraft achievements are pretty wacky though, and some of them can be quite difficult. I've got a lot of work cut out for me in these 100 days. One of the achievements involves having every potion effect applied at the same time, and I started that long odyssey today. I ended up not having about half the ingredients I needed, so this one's gonna take a little bit. And now I'm in the Nether. How did this happen? Unfortunately, there's a whole list of Nether achievements, and they're literally hell. I said earlier that on day 300, I'll be fighting the Wither, and in order to do that, I need to kill about 1,000 Wither skeletons. Each one has a 2.5% chance to drop a Wither skeleton skull, and this one dropped one here, but I need 3 of those. I also needed to shoot a regular skeleton from over 50 meters away with a bow, and I got that one here. After a quick resupply on day 211, I kept working on Nether achievements. This time I had to bop a ghast with his own attack. Not that hard. Then I started some hard labor working on a massive tunnel through the Nether for another achievement. Every block in the Nether is worth 8 blocks in the overworld, and there's an achievement for moving 8,000 blocks, which I got here. Well, I guess there's a random portal to the underworld here, 8,000 blocks away from my home spawn. I might as well kill these cows. I'm from out of town, so there's no way they'll be able to identify me. I brought a beautiful white horse back with me before I realized he can't come back with me because my tunnel is too small. Well, enjoy your new life, horse. It's your problem now. As soon as I got back to the Nether fortress, I started killing Nether skeletons again and immediately got another skull. Wow, that's really lucky. I got a ton of achievements and 2 Wither skeleton skulls, so I decided to quit while I was ahead. I got up bright and early on day 212. I'm gonna be working my hoe until she breaks. It's an achievement to use up the entirety of a diamond hoe. It's also a funny euphemism. I'm killing 2 hoes with 1 gat here though. I've been meaning to clear out the land between these 2 villager towns for a long time. It didn't even really take that long. About the entire daylight hours, or about 8 minutes. That night I was able to find a zombie villager who's part of another achievement. I tried to trap him with dirt, but he just didn't want to stay in prison. In the end, he chose death. I would have too. I wasn't recording for day 213, so I'll just show you what I did. I made this map. I like looking at it. I had to level up my villager cartographer, and I also want to make a bigger version of this in my main compound, so this was kind of just practice. I was also able to purchase an ocean monument map from the cartographer, and that should be pretty entertaining. And after a large amount of travel, the next morning I was at my ocean shack, ready to take on this monument. It took about all of day 214 just getting there by boat. It was pretty far away. And I'm already leaving on day 215. I'm not really supplied for this thing. I gotta run back home real quick. I should have prepared, but I did not, and I'm paying the price for it. It wasn't a total loss. I was able to collect a little bit of ocean monument blocks and activate my conduit outside my compound. Now, any water around my compound, I can not only breathe forever, but also see underwater pretty well. And by the end of the day, I was ready to go back. I had some Depth Strider boots and a Respiration 3 helmet. Getting back to the ocean monument was a lot easier. I had the coordinates, so I could just fly there. Didn't even take half a day. I also had a master plan for conquering the ocean monument the Luke the Notable way. And my master plan to conquer the ocean monument involved nothing but this cow. Getting the cow into the ocean monument was probably the hardest part, but I did get him in there. Why the cow, you ask? Well, the worst part about an ocean monument is the mining fatigue. When you get hit with this, you can't mine anything. But thanks to this cow, I have unlimited white stuff right here. So, no more mining fatigue. You're not supposed to be able to mine your way through this dungeon. It's supposed to be a difficult maze, but I broke that, and it's very easy. This legendary underwater maze turned out to be pretty easy, and all I needed was a cow. The prize of the ocean monument is 8 gold blocks, which is normally pretty tough to get to, but for me, it was pretty easy. Then by the end of the night, I was back home with a bunch of gold and victory. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with all this gold. I'm becoming too rich. It's really a problem. Day 219, for once I was tearing down walls instead of building them. Shortening up the walls really opened up the compound. I like how I can see everything now. And to tell you the truth, I've wanted to get rid of this hilly portion of the compound for a very long time. It took pretty much all night, but I've cleared out a lot more space for myself here. I didn't realize how much land was being completely unused until I got rid of that hilly portion. And I've got some pretty big plans, so I'm gonna have to burn down this forest outside of the compound. It's the most efficient way. At night, I was able to find another zombie villager and trapped him inside of this dirt hut for later. I also killed a ton of phantoms, which I like doing now. They're fuel for my elytra. The next morning, I went to check on my zombie villager and he despawned. Ugh. I then took out my aggression on someone unarmed and weaker than me. I spent the rest of the day trying to figure out how the bees work. I really have no idea. By the end of the day, I had 1 beehive, which for me was a great success. And at night, I slept in the first villager town. It's been a while. We're back in the main camp for day 222. I'm preparing to build a big map here. I decided to use my basement mine, and I quickly ran into some issues involving lava. Though I only had to get enough iron to make a few compasses, so I'll be good. And this is where my map will live. Once it's made, it'll look awesome. I lied. I need more iron, and there's no way I'm building an iron golem farm that's just inhumane. And you know caves haven't been that dangerous, especially since I invested in some diamond armor. And look at that, after a long hard day with no paid lunch, I had 59 iron. I was so excited I just sat there all night smelling the fumes. Alright, now it's time to map out my land on day 224. It's time for a tax assessment. It's really not a difficult process, you just go to a corner of your land and map it out, just like that. Then you go back to the main map and place it where it's supposed to be. It's pretty easy. I didn't want to venture out too far, it did get dark out, but I got a pretty good amount of it done today. I'm also finally disabling that mine shack I built all the way back on day 1. I've never used it once. I'm gonna build some proper storage. The chests in my house can get a little bit cluttered, and by that I mean totally cluttered and not even usable. But before we do that, we have a map to make, and thanks to my elytra and rockets, it was pretty easy to get pretty far out there. It took all day to get the far pieces, even with my rockets and elytra, but it's gonna be worth it, I'll show you. The map turned out better than I ever could have imagined, and you know, I can always make it bigger. I could easily stare at this thing for the next 75 days and nights, but I should probably get to work on something more productive. You know, hell can be pretty productive. I only need one more wither skeleton skull, and I want to make sure I get it before I get close to day 300. Though that skull only has a 2.5% chance of dropping, so I'll have to get pretty lucky. I was down there for a while and killed several families of wither skeletons. On day 228, I even found an unexplored part of the Nether Fortress where I got some diamonds and gold. But by day 229, some of my diamond armor broke, and I just gave up. It's not safe to be down here. I need more diamonds, I always need more iron, and I probably should have a proper mine on my main compound, so that's what I'm doing here. It's also built right next to my storage, so I can put all my cobblestone and other assorted items in here when I'm done mining. But I'm not gonna mine at night. It's been like 10 days since I've slept. Not to be like every other Minecraft YouTuber out there, but I wasn't recording for the first part of day 231 and got some diamond armor. You're just gonna have to believe me. The rest of the night, I took the Grand Luke the Notable Canal to my ocean shack. Apparently there's turtles here, but I don't know how they work. I'm sure they'll be useful eventually. But until he becomes useful, he'll stay here, imprisoned. Sorry the frame rate's bad, I got it on 32 chunks. I'm just looking for some new land. I'm mostly just burning my time until night. I've got to kill drowned. I've never found a trident and I need it for several achievements. These are the drowned. They're pretty easy to kill with my depth strider boots. I never found a trident, but I did find some pillagers. I'm indifferent about the situation. I left with the bad omen effect, and that's all you gotta know. Plausible deniability. I slaughtered more drowned zombies at night with my Smite 4 sword. It's pretty easy, but I never found a trident. I mean, one of the drowned threw about 4 tridents at me, but I never got one. I found a jungle temple on day 234. I lost about 30 days of work in one of these before, so I was pretty careful. The loot was okay, just barely worth my time coming down here. On my way back home, I ran into a pillager outpost, and one of the best ways to take one of these down is to land right on top of it. Again, the loot was pretty trash. I don't even know why I came to this thing. I was just gliding home when I flew a little bit too close to this town, and the raid started on it. Uh-oh. I really don't have time to help. I hope you kept good ancestral records. Day 235, I was just trying to forget about all the innocent souls I just killed by planting some bamboo from the jungle. After that, I figured we could just clear some more forest. The efficient way. Doesn't that look far, far easier than chopping? You see that big open field? That used to all be trees, until I burned them all. I found that village I accidentally sent the raid to. Of course, they're all dead. It's a shame, it was actually really close to my main compound through the forest. You might also notice that this is a different horse. The other one burned to death. Kinda like this. The next day, I went out searching for some bees' nests. I only have one, and that's not very efficient. I found another outpost and couldn't stop myself from killing the inhabitants. Everything was going swimmingly until a pillager captain killed my horse. Oh, you're gonna pay for that one. Tomorrow, this peaceful villager town is gonna be overwhelmed with raiders. It's gonna be a lot of fun. For me. It shouldn't be too bad. I've got a nice protective wall around the entire town, so I'll be able to just shoot these guys from a distance. The first couple waves of this raid were pretty easy, if I'm being honest. The wall did most of the work, though it went from 0 to 100 real quick. What even is this? I also ran out of arrows, so now I'm hiding. As you can tell, I was not prepared for this at all. Ah! Without arrows, I had to use my sword to kill all of these pillagers, which is not the way you want to do it. The fighting was so intense, it lasted all the way until day 239. And this isn't even the end of the raid. That was just one wave. There was no way I was gonna live that situation, so I ran away in defeat. But I got a Totem of Undying, and that was really all I did that for. If you hold this thing in your hand and take enough damage to die, you won't. It's also an achievement. And I thought of no better way. I'm back to mining in day 240. I lost some diamond armor in that raid. Oh look, I recorded myself mining diamonds this time. How rare for a Minecraft YouTube series. I got about 100 iron, some gold, diamonds, and obviously a lot of coal. We gotta do some more mining on day 241. As you can see, I'm only down to some diamond pants. Because I've got the storage right nearby, it's way more efficient down here. If I fill up on cobblestone, I can just fill up my chest with it. I don't have to choose what sort of resources I can pick up anymore. I pretty much pick up everything, like this gravel. And like I explained earlier, after a long day of mining, I can just go right next door to my storage shed and stow it all away. I'm still mining on day 242, but I actually need this cobblestone for something. We'll get to that later. Because I just found an abandoned mine shaft. It might be infested with creepers, but it's probably got a lot of loot in it. At the very least, I'll be able to save a lot of iron by mining up these rails. If you don't think about it too hard, each one's kind of like
like mining a bar of iron. And mining up some gold always puts a smile on my face. It was a big mine shaft. I was down here for the better part of 2 days and found a lot of useful items. I got a diamond, some name tags, and even melon seeds, which I didn't have yet. And I have no idea what I'm gonna use these 5 stacks of rails for, but it's nice to have them. My inventory bursting with juicy loot, I decided to go home and built a reverse staircase to the surface. Compass, you've been my only friend through all of this. And I'm not really sure if it's day 242 anymore, but time gets a little funny when you're down in the mine. Day 244, I was just going to grab a horse from L-Town when I realized that raid is still going on. Uh-oh. Luckily, one of those horses I abandoned was just sitting right here. I didn't even have to retrain him. I quickly found a better horse and we got to know each other over some nice breeding. He's decently fast, has an okay amount of health, and can jump over walls, which is really all I need. And for the first time ever, I'm naming a horse. I'm gonna call him Warthog. Resupplied and ready for action, I went back to fight the raid on day 245, but everyone was gone. At least I got a free Totem of Undying. I had 2 or 3 master villagers here, and they're all dead now. So I went over to L-Town and maxed out all my credit cards to try to feel better. Okay, I was not recording for the real day 246 and some stuff happened. I'm not sure how, I'm not sure why, but I fell all the way down my ladder from the top floor. I didn't die, I had my Totem of Undying, but now I have a safety feature. I'm not really that sad the totem's gone, I'm more upset that I didn't record the whole experience. Anyway, we're venturing out into the great unknown with my Woodland Explorer map. I got this from the cartographer. It'll take me to a woodland mansion where I can find some more loot, kind of like the Ocean Monument. I'm not really sure how many blocks I'm gonna have to travel, it just points you in a general direction. Luckily, a good portion of the traveling was over the sea, and thanks to the boats in this game, that was pretty easy. I traveled all day and didn't find anything except this witch hanging out on her own property, minding her own business, who I killed. Her cat is now my property. What do you mean it's gonna cost 19 levels to fix my elytra? This is ludicrous! I didn't know that these mansions can be tens of thousands of blocks away from your main spawn, so I made the decision to quit. But I burned down the witch's house just to say that I did something while I was out here. It also made me feel a little better about wasting so much time. Good news is I only have to walk back about 15,000 blocks. Woohoo! At least I timed it right and spent most of the nighttime, which is the most dangerous of course, in the ocean. I used my elytra very sparingly. I didn't know it was gonna cost so much to recharge it. But by the nighttime of day 249, I made it back to my land. You can pretty much see it from a mile away. I'm checking on my honey stocks in day 250, and as you can see, they're at an all-time low. So I just decided to farm. It's been a while. By the end of the day, it looked like I generated some honey, but I still don't know how these bees work. Doesn't matter though, because after about 12 days of labor, I got my first honey block. There's an achievement for jumping onto a honey block to break your fall, and that's what I'm gonna be doing today. At least that's what I thought I was gonna be doing. It didn't seem to work for me. All I know is that this fall should normally kill me, and the honey block prevented it, but I still didn't get the achievement. The rest of the day, I leveled up my Fletcher to master, and he'll sell me a piercing 2 crossbow, which I can use for another achievement. Day 252, I ventured out in search of another village. At the rate mine keep dying, I probably need to find another one. I didn't find a village, but I found another witch who I obviously killed. Hello, cat. I'm your new owner. I'm very cruel. You'll get used to it. I wasn't recording for day 253. I spent all of my time corralling these cats into this house. It was easily one of the most difficult things I've done so far. Oh, and it's finally time to put all of this cobblestone to good use. But that'll have to wait until tomorrow. It's getting dark out. Yep, we're building a mob farmer. A pretty simple one, but a mob farmer. I'm mostly just doing this to get a little bit more gunpowder and XP at the end of the day. And at the end of the day, I was almost finished. But not quite. It's incredibly simple technology. Zombies, creepers, and skeletons will spawn on these platforms and the water will push them into the center. And because the entire thing is covered in dark, they'll spawn 8 minutes a day and 8 minutes a night. I originally said 24/7, but that's just not accurate for Minecraft. I was 90% done and ran out of cobblestone though, which is just disheartening. Well, I know one thing that always lifts my spirits. We also have an absolutely apocalyptic problem developing. My throne room! Ah, the view! Instead of having an absolute mental breakdown, I decided to just mine. It's a little cathartic. And diamonds, well, those are just straight euphoria. I left the mine with all the cobblestone I needed, 64 iron and 10 diamonds. A good day. So day 257, I continued construction on my completely ethical mob farm. I finished with a good amount of daylight left and went to go farm some more trees in the swamp. I'm gonna need them for something. But at night, I was almost instantly distracted by these skeletons riding skeleton horses. I want one. Huh. That was pretty easy. I'm not sure if this is a glitch or intentional, but you can't put a lead on a skeleton horse just yet. Whatever, he'll just roam around. And because time passes, now it's the next day where I'm expanding my house. Don't let me confuse you here, this is 100% all about vanity. I'm pretty sure by this point we're at 13 or 14 floors, and we're only going higher. You see that white stuff at the top of the ladder? Those are the clouds. And after another long day of house construction, I assured that my new throne room will have a perfect view of the sunset. I also upgraded the throne a little bit with a nice diamond seat cushion. We're gonna do some more exploring on
day 260. I won't get lost. By this point, you can see my wood from space. Yes, that was a penis joke. By the end of the day, I found the ocean and made a little shack out here. I'm hoping to kill some drowned in the meantime. I killed several drowned, but none of them dropped a trident. I don't even need it for a weapon, it's just for an achievement, come on! Day 261, I found a pillager outpost, and after taking the trash loot inside, I decided to burn them all alive. They just stood there as the lava overtook all of them. It was quite satisfying to watch, and because I have the elytra, I was able to fly away before the cops showed up. I've definitely been to this desert before. It was at some point during the first 100 days. It turns out this desert was fairly close to my main base, which means I never really had to build that ocean canal. Well, it ain't a Luke the Notable 100 days video without a good old-fashioned road project. It's definitely not my proudest creation, but it's a useful one. You see, the whole reason I wanted to get a useful connection to the desert was for the glorious, glorious sand. I can turn this sand into glass panes and glass bottles and sell them for massive profits at L-Town. For now, though, I'm gonna use these glass panes on my house. Embezzlement is the way. Day 263, I harvested my melons. The farm isn't that efficient, but I had to set it up all by myself, unlike some other Minecraft YouTubers out there. I then took a short trip back to the desert and started shoveling more sand. This is a top-tier investment right here. You know, these fumes might be bad for my health, but nowhere near as bad as being poor. Day 264, I got my fisherman up to master level, and he'll buy oak boats for me for 1 emerald, so obviously I'm going to exploit that. Farming was just the beginning of the profits. I wasn't recording for the daytime of day 265, but I'm back in the main camp for some action in the night. There's an achievement for killing 2 phantoms with 1 crossbow shot, and it's pretty difficult. I was literally up all night trying to kill 2 of these phantoms with 1 shot and never did it. Oh well, on day 266, I went back to leveling up my villagers, and this weaponsmith just got to master, so that's the last one. I am insanely rich though. From that 1 inventory of sand a couple days ago, I'll get about 200 emeralds. You guys already know I got the cake. And I'm also starting to stockpile some of these mob items like gunpowder from my mob spawner. The bamboo I planted earlier also grew, and it just looks nice. I spent pretty much all of day 268 fishing. I'll need them for tomorrow. I also happened to acquire one of the best fishing rods in the entire game. It's got the curse of vanishing, which just means if I die it gets deleted, but if I die the whole world gets deleted, so that doesn't really matter. So not only does this one have luck of the sea, which makes me more lucky while fishing, it also has mending, which means it actually repairs the fishing rod every time I catch a fish. Later I was fishing by the mob spawner when I noticed a zombie villager spawned. Yo! But by the time I got back with the necessary items to complete the achievement of healing him, he despawned. Oh well, now it's day 269, the best day in the whole series. I figured today was as good a day as ever to start breeding the cats. They have all been bred to work, like every other creature in this land. Anyway, that night I ventured out on my boner horse looking for another village. I did not end up finding a village, and my horse died. I stayed up all night avenging him. I can't believe it took me until day 270 to build a netherwart farm. I also started the slow process of grabbing more obsidian. I'm gonna need it when I inevitably go back into the nether. I spent the rest of the day cleaning up the track between my main compound and the desert. There's a lot of trees in the way. And that's pretty much what I did all day. I said there was a lot of trees. You know, I don't miss the swamp that used to stand here at all. Who needs them? I was just exploring the vast desert on day 271 when I found a village. Whoa! There's so many of them! And they're all breathing! And now they're all imprisoned for eternity. I don't know if I'll have enough time to fully deck out the sand village, but I'll at least be able to get some of the other villager professions that I don't have at L-Town. And if I had a cartographer in this village, I could sell glass panes to him with the unlimited nearby sand. You know, I said I was looking for a new village, and it's easily the best case scenario that I found one in the desert. Today was a good day. Day 272, I found a cat. I'll make him my friend through fish. He was a stubborn little guy though. I fed him a lot of fish and we didn't even become associates. I checked, and it took 11 fish to make him my friend. Finally, day 273, I started by changing this villager into a leather worker. He'll sell me dyed leather chaps, which I didn't even know existed. I don't want him anyway. I don't really get the point of dyed leather armor. It's not like I'm gonna wear that stuff. I'm just gonna end up dying with it. I then turned this villager into a librarian, and he'll sell me bookshelves for a pretty terrible exchange rate if I'm being honest. Money's of no concern, so I got him to master very easily, and he'll sell me name tags. Nice. And by the end of the day, I was back in L-Town to go buy myself some more money. With all the glass and boats and everything I can sell to these villagers, I got over 150 emeralds in a single day. Then by the end of the day, I took that massive haul back to the desert village. Day 275, I started by taming this cat. I might have not mentioned that there's an achievement for taming all of the different cat variants. I then got my leather worker to master, and he'll sell me saddles for 1 emerald a piece. That is an insane deal. Anyone else remember when I fished for like 5 days straight just to get one of those things? One of my other servants includes a cartographer who will buy glass panes from me for massive profits in the desert. And now with unlimited saddles and name tags, I corralled all of my cats. They're coming home with me. I'm glad Minecraft doesn't have a smell feature, because this pen is gonna get real bad real quick. Oh, I'm grabbing all the cats, you gotta know. Interestingly, a good cat can actually improve the efficiency of a mob farmer, so I'm gonna need a couple of these guys. We gotta give those cats some time to grow up though, so day 276, we're going back into the nether. I of course still need one wither skeleton skull, but hopefully with this massive portal, I'll be able to trap a ghast. I've gotta get a ghast to go through that thing and then kill him in the overworld. It doesn't sound hard, but it is. The basic accepted strategy is to use a fishing rod on a ghast and pull him towards you into the portal. It is definitely not easy. Why is everything on fire? Even if you can manage to hook a ghast, that doesn't always mean he's gonna go exactly where you want him to. This is a very difficult challenge. I'm cutting up this footage a ton. You're seeing a couple of close attempts, but you gotta know there were way more fails. Somehow though, on day 278, when I was just about to give up, the ghast went through the portal himself! Ah! The hardest part is getting him outside. Once he's there, it's pretty easy to kill him with one arrow. As you can tell, I was very happy. I'm still in the nether for day 279 though. Gotta keep killing these wither skeletons. I even upped my chances by increasing the overall size of the nether fortress with these nether bricks. But even after all of day 280, I ran out of pumpkin pie, and there's no sense in fighting a bunch of skeletons if you don't have food to heal yourself, so I had to go home. The first thing I did on day 281 is put my cats to work. If you put them in the corner of your mob farmer like this, they'll actually scare creepers into the center more often, and that means more gunpowder. And would you look at that, it almost instantly started working. But now we're back in the nether. I've got less than 20 days to get that last wither skeleton skull. I went all of day 282 completely dry, and day 283 was even drier. I had literally just resupplied on day 284, and one of the first wither skeletons I killed dropped the skull. You can see I pretty much just stood there in shock. Now that I never have to go back to the nether again, I was in reality and attacked by 2 phantoms. And one was caught in this tree. Now's my chance. I took my sweet time, lined it up, and with one arrow, got this achievement. This is what I was doing during the daytime of day 285. I just wasn't recording. Finally putting those mine tracks to good use. It was always kind of a meme that I spent like 20 days on this road and never use it, but now I'm gonna use it. But as you can obviously see, it's not done yet. It even has a purpose. You're not really supposed to fight the wither near your main base, so I'm gonna fight him near this birch house I built. The minecart track isn't really necessary, but it's definitely one of those little luxuries in life that you need to have. I just need you guys all to know that I rode this thing back and forth about 30 different times. To fight the wither, you gotta do it at the lowest level of bedrock, and I was just building a shaft all the way down here when I jumped in some lava. No! I very calmly grabbed my ender chest and a bucket of water inside and put out the fire on myself. I remained completely calm the entire time. I felt better about the whole situation after I found some diamonds. Day 288, I had to grab some rabbit's feet, and I took them all forcefully. Listen, I didn't want to kill an entire generation of rabbits. It's not my fault the rabbit's foot only drops 10% of the time. I also got a level 2 bad omen effect, and this time when we do the raid, I'll actually come prepared. In the first villager town, there's a single solitary villager alive. He's a master farmer hidden in one of the houses. And 1 villager's all you need for a raid. This time I also came back with 4 stacks of arrows, iron golems, and tons of cake. They did spawn inside the village, but with 4 stacks of arrows, I could pretty much just snipe them all from afar, and they're pretty dumb, so they never rushed me. I mean, sure, it took a while, but with how much land this village occupies, it was pretty easy to run away when things got tough. And it took almost a full 2 days, but I was able to complete the raid entirely and become the hero of the village. I also got 7 totems, so I can die quite a bit now. Day 291, I'm just trying to make sure I have everything ready for this potion achievement, and I'm pretty sure I totally don't. Well, at least one positive thing I can take from this day is that I learned how mushrooms work. I also needed some essence of turtle, so Warthog and I went out to find some on day 292. I didn't find a turtle, but I found an orange cat, which I didn't have yet. Nice. I know there's turtles over by my ocean shack, I just didn't want to have to run all the way out there. I was hoping I could find some by the desert village. I didn't give up easily though. I was out all night killing monsters until the next day, 293. But then I found a desert temple, and I had to go in. The loot was pretty good. I got a book of feather falling, which would have been nice for my ender dragon fight. I also got some diamonds, which is just always welcome. I actually found a second desert temple, but it looks like someone already triggered the explosives on this one. This one was right next to the desert village. It was probably just an unsuspecting villager. Honestly, day 294 was mostly about organization and travel. Nothing really interesting happened, and by the night time I was taking my ocean canal back to the ocean shack. But now it's day 295, certified turtle time. Full disclosure, I had no idea how these things worked. I don't know why I try to treat every mob in Minecraft like they're cows or pigs, but turtles are obviously not cows or pigs. After a night of Googling though, on day 296 I was educated on turtle breeding habits. So kinda like turtles in real life, turtles in Minecraft will only lay eggs on their home beach. So you can't just lock a turtle up and expect him to lay eggs wherever he's imprisoned. You have to let him get back to his home beach. Good news is you can totally steal the eggs once he's laid them though, and that's exactly what I did. So by the end of day 296, I left my ocean shack with 15 turtle eggs. A good day. The good news is a turtle's home beach is wherever they spawn, so once all of these eggs hatch, they'll think this is their home, and I'll be able to breed them. However, turtles aren't known for doing anything fast, including hatching, so that might take a while. Day 297, I tried my hand at making a raid farm near the desert village, and I've already stated that I'm terrible with redstone, and it didn't really work. If anything, I just made an absolute mess of everything. Tell you the truth, I'll probably need at least 1,000 days to get this thing functional. Day 298, I started my prep for the Wither fight. Thanks to all the work I did for the Ender Dragon fight, I'm mostly all the way there. You know, I've brewed basically every potion in the game 3 times already. Also, by this point, most of my good stuff comes from the villagers in L-Town, so I had to go there by the end of the night. Hey, a wandering trader was in L-Town on day 299, and he sold me 5 Nautilus shells. Hopefully I could get a second conduit at some point. I then killed him for his leads. Can't let me catch you sleeping. And like any good gentleman preparing for battle, I made sure to carry plenty of white stuff. And that's pretty much everything I need for the Wither fight. I've watched about 17 YouTube tutorials on it, and it shouldn't be too difficult. So on the eve of the Wither fight, I watched the sunset in my throne above the clouds. Alright, today's the day. If I don't make it back, Warthog's in charge. Don't worry, the dog I don't talk about, I'll be fine. I'm gonna be honest, I think this minecart track is probably my favorite thing I built in these 300 days. To spawn the Wither, you gotta put some soul sand in this sort of fashion, like an iron golem, and then you put the 3 Wither skeleton skulls on the top. Make sure you drink your potions, and don't miss the placement like I just did. With that final Wither skeleton skull, the Wither will spawn, and now it's go time. He's got 2 phases. In the first one, you've gotta shoot him with arrows, and it's not very difficult if you've built a shaft like this at Bedrock. He basically can't hit you. Once you get him down to half health, your arrows won't work anymore, and that's when it's time to pull out your sword. Because I've got a Smite 4 sword, though, I do an absolutely insane amount of damage, and wow, he's already dead. That was really easy. I also really over-prepared, like everything else I do in this series. And winning that fight has just given me more to do, like this beacon. What even is this? Now we're back in my main camp for day 301 in hardcore Minecraft. No stalling though, we have a lot to do, especially if I want to make it to 1,000 days. And the very first thing I wanted to do was to go back to the end, to get a second Elytra. In my 300 days playthrough, pretty much everyone called me out for not putting mending on my Elytra, so I'm trying to fix that right now. But of course, remember, this isn't normal Minecraft. This is hardcore. If I die, it's over. So even though I really wanted that Elytra, I spent all of day 302 tunneling to get one. And yeah, this is a little awkward, but I wasn't recording for the real day 303, so I already have that Elytra. Luckily, I took this screenshot to post on Twitter for day 303. It's our only evidence. Day 304 was mostly just me on a horse, but by the end of the night, I was back home. And right before bed, I spent a little bit of time updating the treasure room. I know it might seem a little anticlimactic, but that Elytra's just gonna sit in a chest for a little bit. I've got some work to do before I can make it a mending Elytra. And that work involves this desert town. There's gonna be a lot of exploiting. My basic idea to maximize profits in this town was to use this sand to make glass to sell to villagers to get a ton of emeralds. And because this town's in the desert, I have a massive amount of sand for unlimited profit potential. Of course, that's gonna take a lot of work, but the 2 auto furnaces I built on day 307 should help. And the town's pretty unsafe. There's no wall, so I feel totally naked. Had to run back to the main camp on day 308, and my turtles hatched, yes! And because they spawned here, they'll think this depressing little piece of sand is their home beach, and I can breed them. Anyway, I was mostly just here for supplies, and stayed for the turtle breeding. I mean, who wouldn't? Day 309, I'm back in the desert making living spaces that are totally up to code. But at night, all production stopped when I found a zombie villager. And once I lured him into my house, I got to the business of curing him. It took a while. It was almost the next morning when he turned back into a villager. He almost immediately started going through my house though, so I dealt with him. Day 310 was essentially just spent making a massive sugarcane farm in the desert. And production on that sugarcane farm continued to day 311. By the end of the night, the desert was looking pretty fertile. Day 312, I'm finally starting to make some profits, selling off my glass panes to these cartographers in the desert town. But of course, if I want the real profits to begin, I have to set up an involuntary breeder. Just know that this is not how you want to construct one, and I learned that the hard way. That night I decided to explore some nearby caves. Not only did I find an abandoned mine shaft, but I also found a zombie spawner. So needless to say, I also spent all of Pi Day down in the mines. Day 315 was spent consolidating my servants into one factory. There aren't that many of them. It didn't take that long. That night I did a drive-by and a pillager captain to get the bad omen effect. And now it's raid time on day 316. Of course, I would never bring turmoil to the desert town. I'm in that first town that I found that I don't care about anymore. There's one single villager in this town, and as long as he doesn't die, I'll win the raid, so I'll keep him safe. The raid lasted well into the night of day 317, but because it was a level 1 raid, it wasn't that hard. I got the victory. When you defeat a raid, you become the hero of the village. That's what that icon in the top right of my screen indicates. When you're the hero of the village, you get discounts in the store, so every glass pane I sell to these cartographers makes me more profit. My hero status lasts for about 2 or 3 days, so of course, that's all I'm gonna be doing. doing. By day 320, I wasn't a hero anymore, so it was back to shoveling. And, you know, that was it. I shoveled all day. I was just going back to the pillager outpost on day 321 when I fell in a hole. I was fine. I was mostly worried about Warthog. I got him out, but it took all night. Horses and caves just don't go together. Well, we're back to business on day 322, just trying to get another raid. This time we're testing our luck with a level 2 raid, so it should be a little bit more difficult. The raid was almost over on day 323. However, my diamond helmet broke and the damage really started to add up. Most of the damage came from the Vex, and I didn't want to push my luck here, so I ran away. For the time being, I was able to go back home and make a resupply, which was much needed. Then I realized I only had 4 diamonds to my name and couldn't even make a helmet, so I decided to hit the mines. And somehow, just by mining, I became the hero of the village. That's weird, but I'll take it. And now with my upgraded public image, I went straight back to profiting. And I mean, can you blame me? Look at those amps. Oh, and I don't know if you noticed, but this cat's been following me for a few days. I can't stop him. Day 326, the exchange rates for the cartographers are getting absolutely horrible. They're charging me way more now, even though I'm the hero. I'm fairly certain it's because I'm selling them mountains of glass. I should probably calm down here for a couple days. And I did. I built the wall in the desert, but I wasn't recording. I made it out of sandstone. I thought it was fitting. There's still a lot more to do. All of day 328 I spent lighting up the wall. Wasn't recording again on day 329. All I did was line the wall with cacti. I thought it would help keep zombies away. It doesn't. Still gotta find ways to keep myself busy, so on day 330 I built a farm. I mean, how am I gonna be a big fat cat glass tycoon if I can't control the local food production? Day 331 I went back to the abandoned mine shaft. I had nothing else to do. It was a fairly productive day that ended with a bunny suicide. I'm still waiting for the markets to restabilize on day 332, but I found diamonds, so there's that. And after a long day of mining in day 333, I realized on the way back that I walked over some diamonds. Day 334 I spent all day just trying to grab a second horse. It's harder than it looks. This one's not as good as Warthog, but he'll do. And if he dies, I won't be sad. Day 335 I'm setting up farms for beets, potatoes, and carrots. At this point I had never successfully made a villager breeder, and I read that multiple types of food can help. And at night I checked that the price of glass was back to normal, so it's time for more profits. But first I gotta get my poll numbers up, so it's time to start a war. This war took several days, mostly because I had to run away several times. I took so long the raid was no longer active, but the raiders didn't despawn, so I still had to kill them. So even after killing all the raiders, it took so long that I wasn't even a hero. Yeah, no profits for me today, just back to shoveling. I'm still shoveling on day 341, but I'm telling you I'm gonna turn this sand into emeralds. And at night I lit up the surrounding area. As you can see, there's tons of zombies in these parts. This should be the last day of profits for a little bit. I'm getting very close to my goal, which I'll talk about tomorrow. Oh look, it's tomorrow. Time to set up this beacon. This is what I needed all of those emeralds for, to set up a beacon at max power. And there it is, my first beacon. It's beautiful. The beacon allows you to choose from a variety of powers that all just make life easier. And hey, it's just kind of pretty to look at, especially at night. Unfortunately, the beacon's power can't reach me down in the mine, but that doesn't matter because I already started finding some diamonds. I actually found tons of diamonds today, 45 of them. But now I've got a new project. I'm gonna make this raid town a little more defensible. It's gonna be very ugly, but also very deadly, like your mom. It's actually a fairly simple contraption stemming from the highest point in the town. In theory, with the flick of this lever, I'll drop lava on pillagers, but I'm terrible with redstone, so it doesn't work. It just dropped buckets of lava. I don't know why. I finally got it to work on day 347, but I think I'm gonna need more lava. I also spent some time terraforming the land, so there's literally only one way up to my position. Oh, and of course I'm putting a lava trap on the only way up. It's definitely not perfect, but I'm getting somewhere. Again, this whole system's totally ugly, but there's only one villager living in this town, and he's stuck in his house by my order. I also had to completely change the way the lava's delivered on day 350. I think a piston system will work a little better. And by the end of this day, I had to resort to using dirt, but I think it's done. So bright and early on day 351, I went back over to L-Town to resupply for war. And it took all night, but eventually I did get the bad omen effect. The traps work okay. Honestly, the best part is I can stand above the pillagers and shoot them with my bow now. The stairway lava trap is by far the most deadly, and it's super helpful when pillagers spawn inside my wall. But it's not perfect. Sometimes pillagers spawn inside my house, and there's not much I can do about that. But still, after 2 days, I beat the raid and ate some cake. Even though I'm a hero now, day 354 was mostly just chores. I'm gonna feed these carrots to my villagers. They've got plenty of food, plenty of beds, but they're still not breeding. I don't know why. I added doors. I tried everything to make this thing work. Oh well, I'm sure I'll get it eventually. Back to Bloodshed, I spent all of day 356 just trying to get a level 3 raid. But first, I've got to build something in the main camp that's very important. It took all day, but I built a giant totem. I'm getting a large amount of Totem of Undyings from all these raids I'm doing, so I'll need a proper place to store them. And now I have a new goal, to fill this chest to the brim with totems. The next 2 days were spent on a level 3 raid that I completed without much incident. I didn't get as many totems this time, mostly because they were incinerated, but that's fine. At least I won the raid. Even with my level 3 discount though, I couldn't make that much profit because I didn't have enough cartographers to sell my glass to. I figured I could do something with this glass surplus and started construction on an aquarium. By the next day, the aquarium was getting there, but all I I have is salmon. I need something more exotic. Short trip to the ocean will fix that. I didn't get back until the next day, but now I have a bustling aquarium. And the best part is you can walk along the inside of it to get a nice view of the fish. I think Warthog likes it. Anyway, back to business with some more raids. Like most raids, this one took 2 days, and the lava did most of the work. This is also the day I took the screenshot for the 300 Days World Tour, which is why you see a beacon in there. Now today is day 365, which means we've made it 1 year in hardcore Minecraft. And I celebrated with a cake, served on a diamond platter. This will be a relic for all time. Day 366, I didn't do much during the day, but at night I went out looking for zombie villagers. I need more cartographers, or a librarian. I'm getting desperate. The breeder isn't working! Not much going on day 367, but after some fishing I got an idea. Yep, I'll be making an AFK fish farm. I'm giving up on getting a mending book from a villager. I have no idea how this works. I totally looked it up on Google. I was lusting for that mending book so hard I fished for all of day 369. Don't worry, there'll be other 69s. I kept it going all of day 370 just for good measure. I wasn't recording for the first part of day 371, but I put a glass enclosure around the fish farm. Oh, and I just let it go. I'm pretty sure I went bowling with my dad, Torzen Mater, while this was happening. Still going on 374. Yeah, still bowling on 375. Probably driving home on day 376. Nope, false alarm, whole nother day. Day 378, I got to check the loot though, and I got 1 mending book. Yes! So finally, I completed my goal of getting an elytra with mending. I was also able to get a bow with mending, but it was on severely low health. I'll just fix it up with the farm, no problem. That's probably the last of the fish farming I'll do though. It didn't feel honorable. And as you can see, all of day 379 was spent mining obsidian, and that was pretty much it. I also got a nice shot of my base's skyline. Now I'm gonna be putting that obsidian to good use and started construction on a nether highway. Every block in the nether is 8 blocks in the real world, so I can really travel with this thing. Sure, it's dangerous business making one of these things, but when it's done, it'll be totally worth it. I was down in the nether for a total of 3 days and mined until my pickaxe was just about to give out. But after a short resupply, I was back in business on day 384. I really wouldn't recommend doing this without an elytra. There were many times where I fell, but the elytra saved me. I mined for all of day 386 and all of day 387. Now this highway goes 2,000 blocks or 16,000 blocks in the real world. I needed a little break from mining, so day 388 I decided to go back to conflict. Day 389 I did the raid, and I hardly had to think. My traps are very effective. And now because my pickaxes have mending, I can fix them by selling glass panes to the cartographers. So not only do I profit, but I fix my tools. Day 390 I did some more work on that zombie spawner I found a while ago. And at night I found a zombie villager. I had plans to turn him into a librarian until a creeper killed him. To cheer myself up, I just worked on the wall all day 391. And day 392 I went back to the desert outpost to start a conflict that never needed to happen in the first place. With my wall and traps, the raids are very easy. The only difficult part is trying not to burn all the items I need. I never came close to dying, but only got 2 totems because the rest were burned in lava. And would you look at that, it's time for another raid. Honestly, I was just having a lot of fun burning all these guys. Of course, I laid waste to the pillagers and gained 5 more totems of undying. The chest is getting pretty full now. Day 396, I made some really quick profits at the desert town before going back to what I love to do most. One thing I'm really trying to do here is get the efficiency of this pillager spawner up. I want to find a way to get bad omen more effectively. One thing that really helped was putting little half slabs around the whole thing, so any pillagers that spawned would almost instantly see me and come towards me. So by sunset on day 397, I was already started on another level 3 raid. This time I had some issues. The pillagers weren't really spawning where I needed them to. I also had some trouble with the Vex. Here my totem saved me, thankfully. It was a rough night, but the lava mopped him up and I got the victory. Day 399, I installed a landing pad at the trap control room. Now if I'm in a pinch or there's Vex on me or anything that can happen during a raid, I can easily land at the top of the traps. And by nighttime, I was back to making more blood money. Oh wow, it's day 400. I have nothing planned. Sounds like a perfect excuse to do another raid. I spent all of day 400 just trying to kill 1 pillager captain, but couldn't do it. Fortunately, I got 1 on day 401. But again, even after an entire day of killing pillagers, I only got to bad omen 2. I'm starting to kill so many pillagers, these ominous banners are really starting to clog up my chests. But hey, I still need more totems, so we're right back at it. The raid didn't end until nighttime on day 403. But I netted 6 totems, and as you can see, the chest is getting pretty filled up. And what did you think was gonna happen on day 404? This one was a very interesting day. I got bad omen 3 insanely quickly, then went right over to Raid Town and completed the raid within the day. Day 405 was a little less interesting. It's just footage of me buying stuff at L-Town and putting banners up. Back to raiding on day 406, I'm really starting to get the hang of it. That one took 2 days, but at this point I'm 5 totems away from getting a full chest. I'm excited. And with my hype levels at an all-time high, you gotta know I went straight back to raiding. And by nighttime on the next day, I flew away with total victory. You know, the entire point of this series is to never die, and I think I've done a pretty good job at securing that here. I had more than enough totems, so I decided to dive bomb into the ground to use up 1. Alright, there's 10 days to day 420, so I'm gonna start burning them trees right now. After what feels like eons in conflict, it might be a little fun to spend some time on vanity. I'm building one swanky joint to spend day 420 in. It's gonna take a whole 10 days. So yeah, the next couple days I'll be working on the cool shack, and today I'm working on the pool. Though on day 412, in the process of trying to create a fire feature, I almost burned down more of the forest. Day 413, we're getting there. This pool's starting to look pretty classy, and by nightfall I was pretty much done with the lavish quartz entryway. Day 414, I spent all day trying to get these 4 horses back to L-Town. It wasn't easy, but I did it. Day 415, I started converting one of these old villager houses into something very special. It's a nice horse-sized house in L-Town for someone I care very dearly about. Day 416, I gathered some rose bushes with Warthog. I didn't tell him why. And then I brought him over to his new house. He's definitely earned it. I think he really likes it. I don't know what I would do if Warthog died, so I'm retiring him. He's gonna live here happily for the rest of his days. He's living better than most of the villagers in this land. He's even got a food dispenser. And his groupies are always close by. Sure, I'll miss him, but I know he's happier here, and I can always visit. Day 417, I went back to the main camp for supplies and got the bright idea of breeding the cats. It was a horrible mistake. I just gave up trying to get them all back into the cage, so now they'll just sit around the compound scaring away creepers and phantoms. And I also started converting the dirt roads in L-Town to granite. I wasn't recording for day 418, but I built this awesome observation deck. It's got a great view of L-Town. I also tried to build an auto pumpkin farm. I really doubt it's gonna work. And tomorrow's day 420, so I gotta make sure to stock up on that white stuff. Soon as I woke up on day 420, I started burning hella trees. You don't understand. I burnt down a whole ecosystem. Then of course I watched the sunset from my observatory. And at night I went into the green room and started burning that sweet berry kush. I mean bush. I meant to say bush. Well, after all that, I deserve to go straight to hell. I got more tunneling to do. I've already gone 16,000 blocks and I'm trying to get 16,000 more. I guess I haven't really talked about why I'm making this nether highway in the first place. I'm trying to find a woodland mansion, and they're generally very far away. And after 4 solid days of mining netherrack, I was fairly close to the mansion. There's also a jungle over here, which is just awesome. So I made a little jungle shack that'll work as my base of operations for a little bit. I had to spend all of day 425 going back home, though. I've got to resupply before I can take on the mansion. And I had to spend all of day 426 going back. Woohoo! Got back at sunrise on day 427 and immediately started lighting up the roof of the mansion. The mansion is full of pillagers, and I want to make sure I have at least one safe place to go to. I carved my way into this bedroom, and this will be my safe zone. Of course, the entire rest of the mansion is infested with pillagers. The mansion is very large, so clearing it is a very tedious process. Essentially, you just have to kill all the monsters and light up the rooms. There's some really nice rooms in this thing. If I was lazy, I'd build a home here. I'm personally a fan of the dungeon. It looks real cozy. Anyway, I was slow and methodical about the whole mansion clearing process, like everything else I do in this series. The biggest thing you gotta watch out for are the evokers. They'll spawn the Vex if you don't kill them quickly, and in these tight passages, you definitely don't want Vex on you. By day 429, I was fairly certain I had killed all of the pillagers in the mansion. There were a couple more mobs spawning, but I think that's just because of the dark spots. So I spent the rest of the day lighting it up, because everything the light touches is my property. Day 430, I realized there was a small swamp town right near the mansion. So of course, I spent all day locking the inhabitants inside of their own houses. I had to horse my way back home on day 431, though. I need more supplies. And I've been meaning to name my new primary horse. I'm gonna call him Mongoose. I also got an achievement for rubbing myself up against a honey block. It was pretty easy. Of course, all of day 433 was spent going back to the mansion. However, most of my time is gonna be spent in the swamp town. I'm making a massive villager breeder just to test some theories that I have. I'm thinking the reason my desert breeder isn't working is because the height of the ceiling, and I'm testing that theory here. And after 3 days of hard labor, I consolidated all of the villagers in the swamp town. I went back home real quick to grab some carrots to feed them. I spent most of day 438 traveling through the nether, so when I got back to the villagers, they were too tired to breed. And yes! I've done it! A child! It was definitely the size of the roof holding me back. I'm pretty sure the children have to be able to jump on the beds for the villagers to breed. And now that I'm done experimenting on the swamp people, I can go back home. The only footage I have for day 441 is some AFK fish farming. Just a little bit. Day 442, I started chopping spruce trees for a new project. Yep, that's all I did all day. I'm gonna need some large wood. All of that wood's gonna be used on this massive road project. I'm gonna try to connect my main compound to the desert town. The old road was truly abysmal, and I've been ashamed of it for many moons. This road will be much thicker, and in turn more beautiful. However, that also means it's gonna take up more resources, so I'm already back to chopping. I'm still chopping on day 445, but day 446 I'm doing the opposite of chopping. And you can already tell this road's gonna look pretty nice. I wasn't recording for the first part of day 447, but now I have another dog. I was also able to get the road all the way to a birch forest, so now I'm gonna start making the road out of birch trees. At night I bred this new dog with the dog I don't talk about. Maybe eventually I'll have a dog army. Day 448 I started on the birch section of the road. If I can get through this forest, I'll be at the edge of the desert, which is what I wanted in the first place. Still not there yet, but tonight I decided to sleep in the birch shack. For old time's sake. More of the same on day 449, just placing some birch wood. And by day 450, I've touched down at the desert. Though honestly, I'm getting a little tired of building roads. I think for now this is good. It's a nice road that goes all the way to the desert outpost. This was all really just an excuse to get more shots of my base's skyline. My elytra is just about to break though, and on day 451 I tried to heal it. Though I'm telling you, this mob farmer's just super slow. I may have fish farmed. I didn't want to, but I had to. I mean, in theory I could sit here for 1,000 days and just AFK fish, but I'm sure you guys want to see some action. That means it's time for some action-packed mining. I still don't have mending on my armor, so I have to use diamonds to fix it. It's quite the drag. By the end of the day, I got 21 diamonds. Not bad. Day 454, I built an auto furnace. I'm gonna convert all the cobblestone I'm getting from mining to nice smooth stone. I actually built 2 auto furnaces. I think they look kinda nice. Later, I stood in the rain, thinking about all the people I've killed. Doing some more mining on the next day. Nothing interesting happened. What more do you want from me? Oh look, more mining. How exhilarating. Still mining, but at least I got diamonds on day 457. Alright, the mining needs to stop. I probably have enough diamonds at this point. Yep, I played hardcore Minecraft on Christmas. Isn't my life sad? Of course I was still mining, but I found a zombie spawner, and this one should be near my main compound. I surfaced and found out that it's really not that far away. 300 blocks tops. I'm gonna convert that zombie spawner into a zombie farm, but first I have to burn down some trees. Obviously. Hey, I also found a nice use for my andesite. It might take a few days to make a proper zombie farm, but it'll probably be better than my mob farm. Day 461, I built a ladder straight down to the zombie farm, which should help with maintenance. And now it's time to get to the business of converting this thing. I did most of the carving on day 462. I know you gotta make a big room around the zombie spawner for it to work, though I really should have consulted Google before I started on this thing. I thought I knew what I was doing, but I totally didn't. Yep, 3 days later and this whole thing is still pretty useless. Oh well, it'll still be here. I can always figure it out some other time. It's gonna be a big day today. I'm tearing down the walls. Of course, I'll be replacing the walls. The cobblestone wall has served me well, keeping out zombies, creepers, everything, but it is a little bit ugly, especially for someone like me who's been in the game almost 500 days now. There's a lot of wall to replace. This might take a while. This just shows you how important that outer wall is. I mean, that creeper could have got in if it wasn't for it. I almost got there by the time the sun went down, but you don't want to be messing with the wall after dark, so I went to bed. This should be the last day of wall renovation. I'm excited. I finished by the time the sun went down, and I gotta say, it looks a lot nicer over here. Day 467, I redid my storage shed. I need these ocean monument blocks. I decided to redo the whole thing in quartz. I got a ton from making the nether highway, and honestly, I think the quartz looks a lot nicer next to the mine. Day 468, I took Mongoose out to the ocean, and in the middle of the ocean, I built a conduit with a shack on top of it. I still need a trident, which means I need to kill Drowned, and the conduit's gonna help with that. However, this is the Java version of Minecraft where tridents are notoriously hard to get. I didn't get a trident, but I got to watch the sunrise on day 469. There's another pillager outpost near my ocean connection. I burned it down at some point. I tried to make a pillager farm all day. It's not gonna work. I was fighting Drowned all night and got a craving for that sweet, sweet dolphin meat. Day 470, I tried to name the meat it dropped Raw Dolphin, but that's illegal. Oh well, I ate it anyway. It tasted delicious. Day 471, I went looking for a horse. Mongoose is good and all, but he's not that fast. I found a pretty fast one and knew just what to name him. Day 472, I got another fast one. It's time to start the breeding. And who knows, maybe with enough inbreeding I can get a horse to rival Warthog. Day 473, I'm placing a lot of dirt. It's time to make the compound bigger. I'm not kidding. That was all I did all day. 474 was spent putting a wall around my newly constructed land. Of course. Now we got a lot more land, and I'm gonna fill it with weird stuff. Day 475, I bought some puffer fish from the wandering trader. They were 5 emeralds apiece, but money's of no concern. Maybe almost died putting them in the aquarium, but I also have a double chest full of totems. That would have been fine. Day 476, I'm finally dismantling that old road to the desert. Gross. That was pretty much it. I've been meaning to expand the cartographers, but I'll get to it later. More nether tunneling on day 477. Why? Mind your own business. There's a town about 1,000 blocks away from the main compound. I found it in the first 100 days, and I'm building a tunnel in the nether to it. And I'm already there. Like I said, wasn't too far away. The plan is to abduct villagers from here and bring them to my main compound. Then I'll breed them, and then the profits begin. I got my first villager on day 480, a humble farmer. Now I don't have to go all the way to L-Town if I want to get some pumpkin pie, so I named him Uber Eats. Day 481, I got myself a stonemason. I can sell any excess smooth stone to him for emeralds. Other than that, I did some walking around the base wondering what to do next. Well, if you don't know what to do, you can always do some mining. It's Minecraft. I also checked on that fresh new horse I bred. He's not too fast. Might have to send him to the leather factory. I got more diamonds day 483, and that was about it. Day 484, I'm trying to turn this villager into a mending librarian. Ah! A mending book! Yes! I was about to drop my entire life savings on mending books, but when I came back, he was selling Bane of Arthropods. Ugh! I would have murdered him, but the dogs were watching. I just waited until it got dark and then I ganked him. I got another mending librarian the next day, but the books were gonna cost me because I killed that first guy. You know, I don't really need this Emerald Gate, do I? Yep, I'd much rather have 7 mending books. Started off day 486 by putting more banners on the Tree of Murder. I also updated my storage to have a quartz floor. It looks nice. Oh, and just if you're wondering, it's not Christmas anymore. That was only a couple days. I've also been meaning to redo my conduit. I've never liked how it juts out of the water. I actually wanted to put it completely above water. I also installed another conduit near the swamp. It doesn't look pretty, just functional. I did some cave exploring day 488. Nothing bad happened. I went back to the desert town on day 489. I gotta make some money. I forgot that this horse was here. Well, he's useless. At night I went to the nearby ocean looking for drowned and pufferfish. I was pretty efficient. During the day I made money, and then at night I went looking for drowned. Day 491 I kinda realized horse breeding sucks, so I took the best one and just named him Chief. I also put all my pufferfish in the tank. They killed the other fish. This is now definitely my favorite thing. Day 492 I got another villager at the base and turned him into a Fletcher for unlimited arrows right here. I also put quartz underneath the chests in my storage room because I care what you all think of me. Day 493 I'm clearing out some land for a villager breeder near the compound. I'm ambitious. It's large, but that's how it's gotta be. I learned that the hard way. And I was almost finished with construction on day 494. It looks pretty good for a glorified prison. You know, I could have left it boxy, but I took a whole nother day to put the roof on. Well, not the whole day. I had a little time at the end to change my horse road to diorite. Forget the villagers. I'm finishing this tomorrow. The next day I used every single last block of diorite that I had and it turned out perfect. I couldn't go all the way, but at least the part around my camp looks good. I spent all day 497 putting villagers inside of the breeder. I only got 2 of them. It was hard work getting them to listen to me, but at least I got to ride the minecart track through the nether. But with enough shoving, anything's possible, and day 498 I got 2 more. This is probably the last day I'm gonna be grabbing villagers. There's plenty of them, it's just kind of annoying. And it was another big day today. I got 3 more villagers for a total of 7. Oh, and this is only the beginning. Oh look, it's day 500. We're halfway there. The first thing I did was build a monument to my survival in hardcore Minecraft for all this time. I call it the Eternal Flame, and it will burn until I'm dead, which hopefully won't happen. After that, I did some farming. Gotta make those villagers procreate. By the time I handed out the rations, the villagers were tired and probably won't get to breeding today, but they'll have the carrots in their inventory, so they'll be ready. Thanks to all the new villagers on my land, now there's tons of cats that spawn all the time. There's an achievement for having all 13 different types of cats, and I'll get there eventually, I swear. I also spent some time making Chief a stable out of bricks. It's not as nice as warthogs, but it'll do. Day 502, I expanded the villager breeder with more beds. I want to get this thing bopping. I doubt I'll even use all these guys, but it's nice to have a good stock. I also got my iron golem out of the chicken coop. Many chickens died in the process. Day 503, I was back in the mine, mostly just trying to get some XP to enchant my shovel with mending, and all my other stuff. I've got 7 mending books now. I needed level 33 and got level 31. I don't want to AFK fish, but I might have to. I didn't give up though, more mining on day 504, and I got to level 33 with some clean coal. I still gotta put mending on my axe and my pants, but I'll get there. Day 505, I went back to the desert to make some money, get some XP, and fix my shovel altogether. Oh, and I finally got around to expanding the desert villager breeder. I'm fairly certain extending the ceiling 2 blocks was all I had to do the entire time. Alright, now we're getting somewhere. We've got some children in the desert. I'm gonna fill this room with cartographers and turn this entire desert into emeralds. Oh, and if you're wondering, I'm still killing drowned at night. I haven't found that trident yet. Day 507, I almost had some children escape. Good thing they fear me because they ran back in. My glass supply is still vastly higher than the glass demand in this town. There's only 5 adult cartographers I can sell to, and I make way more glass than that. Won't be a problem for too much longer though. Soon they'll start breeding with their own children. Do you like beets? No? Well, too bad. Now I've got 5 adults in the breeder, and they pretty much seem to breed on their own. I'd call that a success. I also put mending on my axe. It only cost 3 levels. I thought it would be way more. Oh, and of course I added more pufferfish. I'm sorry, but it's gonna be 32 levels to enchant my boots with mending. So, all I did was fish farm for 10 days. Yeah, it felt dishonorable, but once I put mending on my god tier boots, I forgot about it. Hello, sheep. Are you using your wool? Do you mind if I borrow it? I spent all day putting beds in the breeder. It doesn't look like we need more. But we need more. The real trick is layering the beds. That's how you can really pack them in there. I'm still in an unending quest for XP though. Gotta put mending on my pants and Tim. Day 521 marks the start of Operation Move the Animals. They're so loud, and I walk by them every day. I gotta move them. It took all day just to move the sheep. Tomorrow I'm gonna do cows and pigs. The cows moved over pretty easily. I only had to silence 1 or 2 dissenters. There were a lot more pigs though, and of course they didn't want to cooperate. Oh, that's nice.
Sweet silence. Later, I tried to breed the llamas. They ate 10 bales of hay and didn't do anything. This is why I hate them. 523 was mostly spent organizing. I have a ton of garbage on my land. Gonna finish up Operation Dead Silence with the chickens and llamas today. The llamas don't accept my authority. I had to drag them in. And at night, I started making this big happy family bigger and happier. I slept amongst the villagers that night. It's quite comfortable. I rode Chief back over to the desert town on day 525. It was a long day of profits. Everyone was tired. And of course, I didn't get the trident at night. I finally am able to sell enough glass to these cartographers that it's a viable strategy for XP, fixing my tools, and money. And with how fast these villagers breed, it's only gonna get better. I went back home at night using the spruce road, and I really gotta light up this section. It's about time I give this zombie farm another try. I really underestimated the amount of digging that needs to take place to make one of these things work. I got the basic structure done by the end of the day, but I'm gonna need some specialty items. One of the things is ice, and I happen to know where to find some near my ocean shack. Tim really can't handle much of this, so I'm gonna grab as much as I can. Yeah, that was all I did all day. I took the ocean canal to save some rockets. The ice is so the zombies slide into the trap. It's genius. The rest of the day was spent messing with bubbles. Pretty fun. The bubble elevator will push the zombies up about 20 blocks, and then they'll fall into this room for an easy one-hit kill. It's working even better than expected. There's so many of them. This is gonna be some really easy XP. Clearing some more trees on day 531. I need a better entrance to the zombie spawner. In hopes of getting a trident, I tried to make it a drowned farm, but later I found out that that doesn't work on Java. You can only get tridents from naturally spawned drowned. Of course, I didn't know this, so I spent 2 days pointlessly farming drowned. But I did put a cleric down there. He'll buy rotten flesh for emeralds, and I get tons of rotten flesh from this thing. Day 534, I started building a Java trident farm when I realized this thing was just gonna be too much work. You know, maybe if I go to 2,000 days, I can make this happen. I'm back in Glasstown today. Things seem to be going well. At night, I didn't fight drowned, but I made a little port which will make ocean access a little bit easier. I'm coming for that trident. The tridents are pretty rare. You can only get one from a drowned that has one in its hand, and even then it's only about a 7% chance. But I'm not gonna let a bunch of pixels in a game rated E10 plus beat me, so I'm still going for that trident. It didn't help that on night 537 I didn't find a single drowned. Not one in the whole ocean. I killed 4 drowned with tridents on day 538, but still nothing. Day 539 I killed a couple with tridents, but again, no luck. I didn't even do anything in the light times of day 540. Just stood there thinking angry thoughts. Joke's on me though, I haven't slept in a while, so the phantoms came out, and you can't hunt drowned when you got phantoms on you. I didn't even start recording until the nighttime of day 541, but it didn't matter because I didn't find a trident. I sailed the ocean blue on day 542, but I couldn't think of another rhyme and didn't find a trident. Day 543, I never even left the boat. I didn't find a single drowned carrying a trident. By day 544, hope was running pretty thin, but at least I can go outside during the daytime. But finally at night, I killed this drowned and he dropped his trident. However, I didn't pick it up immediately and started to panic. I got it, and you can't even fathom my happiness. Things really low on health though, so I'm going straight back home to fix it. Though in my absolute excitement, I put mending on the trident before any other enchantments. So I had to wipe the trident clean with a whetstone, wasting a mending book. I enchanted it, put another mending book on it, and then fixed it with the zombie spawner. Also got some achievements. Day 546, I built an AFK fish farm inside of the zombie spawner. Now I can get XP and loot while waiting to get more XP and loot. It's very efficient. So that's what I did all of day 547. I would AFK fish until the zombies spawned, and then I would quickly go kill all the zombies. I got mending on Timothy, so I can fix him down here too. The last thing on my mending list was diamond pants, and I decided to just make a new pair. It would have cost me about 30 levels to upgrade the old ones. Wait, why does it look like I'm about to fight the Ender Dragon? Because I am, on day 549. It's an achievement to resummon the Ender Dragon, so that's what I'm doing today. I'm also looking for some XP. It took all day, but being as powerful as I am, it really wasn't that difficult. Kinda lame you don't get as much XP as the first time though. You don't get a second dragon egg either. It's a ripoff. I decided not to waste any time and went straight to the end on day 550. There's an achievement for levitating up 50 blocks, and I got that today. I wasn't too scared, I had feather falling boots. I also got myself a third elytra. It's pretty easy when you already have one. Oh, and you know I'm not gonna forget that dragon head. Though getting back wiped out both elytras, so it's time to fix them in the zombie fish farmer. I put a clock down here. It helps me to tell how long I've been whacking the water. By the end of day 552, I had 2 fully charged mending elytras, so I took the first elytra I ever got and hung it on the wall. But now I'm back in the nether for another project. It's time to kill some things. Yep, I made it back to the nether fortress to kill wither skeletons. I need their skulls. Wither skeleton skulls are a pretty rare drop though. There's only a 2.5% chance that I'll get one. However, they'll spawn more frequently with more surface area of nether brick, so that's what I'm doing when I'm not killing them. Nether fortresses cover a ton of area, so I can really increase my efficiency the more nether brick I place down. But again, that skull is rare. Even after 4 days, I only got one. Though I got lucky, day 557 I got another. And I was incredibly lucky on day 558. I got 3 skulls. I really don't deserve this. I need 9 though, so I've gotta keep killing. And day 559, I didn't get a single one. I got one on day 560 though, for a total of 6. I was down here for a while, but there's a lot of work, so time went
pretty quickly. And by 562, this once sprawling nether fortress was reduced to a horizontal plane of nether brick. I'm a little more exposed with the flat ground, but I'll take more wither skeletons any day. Because on day 563, I finally got my last skull. That's 9. Now I'm taking the minecart track to the birch shack, because it's time to fight the wither. I killed this thing for the first time on day 300, and honestly, it was pretty easy. I came very prepared. So I set out with the goal of killing the wither 3 times in a single day. I need those nether stars. And with my Smite 4 sword, even 3 withers went down pretty easy. I'm quite amazed in myself that I killed 3 withers and still have daylight. Those 3 withers gave me 3 more beacons for an incredibly chunky quad beacon. I spent all of day 565 and 40 levels trying to get the channeling enchantment on my trident. Well, that was a waste of 40 levels. What's nice about this new beacon though is in the shallow caves around my compound I get all 5 of those effects, which makes going through these caves very easy. Though if I go too deep I'll lose them. Can't be cocky here. You know, it was definitely a pain to get this thing, but it was totally worth it. But I'm already going back to the nether on day 567. It's time to max out that beacon. I have to kill 2 more withers, which means I need 6 more skulls. It's gonna be a grind. But I'm trying to look on the bright side. I need more XP to get channeling on my trident, and I can get it here. So I spent some more days down in the nether. Yes, even 569. By day 570, I had 5 skulls just looking for that last one. And on day 571, with this solitary wither skeleton, I got my final skull. Time to kill his dad. So on day 572, I only had to kill the wither 2 times. It was pretty easy. So now I've got the strongest beacon type in the game, a sextuple beacon. And after setting it up properly, I've got all of the beacon effects maxed out. Essentially, I'm an unkillable god, so long as I'm standing near my sweet, sweet beacon. I'm going back to abducting in day 573. I was attempting to get a librarian that would sell me the channeling enchantment, but as you can see, the villagers were not cooperating. The first thing I did on day 574 was try to get channeling on my trident, and I did it. Nice. After spending all that time in the nether, I decided to go out on an adventure. I've only got a couple more achievements to knock off my list, and to get them, I've got to leave the safety of my compound. So I'm just gonna go straight west across the sea, looking for new biomes and new monsters. To be more specific, I'm looking for a couple of different biomes, like Ice Spikes, the Badlands, and a couple of other weird ones. See, I've already been to an ice biome. I need to find an Ice Spikes biome, which is far rarer. There's also a mushroom biome that I'm insanely excited to find, but nothing today. I'm also looking for a couple different cat variants, and on day 576, I chased down this one. It kinda looks like my real life cat. Just a little. Can't take him with me though. I'm a rolling stone. Maybe I'll find another one that looks just like him. One of the biomes I needed was a bamboo jungle, and I found one here. I've got to breed an ocelot for another achievement, but I don't think that's gonna work with all this danger out here. Oh look, I found a panda. I guess I can breed that. I locked him in a dirt prison and then went back into the jungle to find him a mate. I got one and then spent pretty much all day leading him with bamboo. They're pretty slow. Pandas are fairly particular. You've got to surround them with bamboo before they'll do any mating. But once they have that, they'll get right to it. I wish I could take one home, but I'm just too far for that. I have the coordinates, so I could always come back. I stayed in the jungle another day, hoping to find ocelots, but I only found zombies. I also found a jungle temple. It had okay loot. And by dawn the next morning, I found the Badlands. It's a great biome. The Badlands are another rare biome, and obviously you can see why. However, I didn't stay long. I've still got more to find. Day 580, I found a savannah town. They're nice, but there's nothing new here. But at night, I found a tundra and a stray, which is basically like a snowy skeleton. And it was also the last monster I needed to kill. There was also this abandoned snowy town, which was creepy, but also cool. I'm still just a man in the wilderness on day 581. I've only got 3 more biomes to find before I've found them all. And I'm really not sure when I'll get a vacation like this again, so I might as well have some fun with it while I'm here. Day 582 was pretty much just a whole lot of me and my thoughts. I paddled all night, and right at dawn, I saw it. The mushroom biome. It's a whole biome dedicated to mushrooms. It's also the only place in Minecraft where you can find the mooshroom, and I've got to breed these for another achievement. However, for that I'll need wheat, so I'll have to boat to an adjacent island to get some. The plan was to set up a very simple farm and then kill skeletons at night to get some easy wheat. And pretty quickly I got over 40 bone meal. And before the night was even over, I was breeding mushrooms. Day 584, I was just trying to breed some polar bears. It's not possible. Don't try it. I thought it was just because I killed this one's child. At night I found a sunken ship, and in the chest I found a diamond, so there's that. Only thing I did all of day 585 was find a donkey. I named him Hote. Don Quixote. He's pretty slow though. I'm faster on foot. Day 586, I found a snowy village that wasn't overrun with zombies. Ah, the villagers here, they're just so cute, little earmuffs. I also found the last cat I need, a white gentleman with different colored eyes. Of course, he can't come home with me. I'm like 10,000 blocks away, so we spent some quality time at night hissing at phantoms. The only new thing I did day 587 was breed some foxes. I was lucky they were close to each other. Day 588, I was mindlessly paddling when I dropped my sword in the ocean, and I didn't notice. It's fine, I watched the clip back and found it,
but I wasted a whole day. I have no idea why there's so many drowned in this particular area, but where was this 20 days ago? And nothing notable happened on day 590. But hey, during the nighttime of day 591, I found the Ice Spikes biome. You know, it's kinda nice if you're into ice. I was fairly certain that was supposed to be the last biome, but apparently I'm missing one. Anyway, I think it's time to go back home. I've had quite the adventure. That's why I'm mining this obsidian. I went straight west about 50,000 blocks, which means I only have to fly east in the nether for about 7,000. It only took about a day. 7,000 blocks with an elytra's not too bad. Yep, by nighttime I was back at L-Town and chilling in my poo. Day 594, I bred some donkeys. There's an achievement for breeding all of the animals, but they count as horses. Well, that was pointless, so I just killed the whole family. I also had to go grab Chief from the End Shack. When I killed the Ender Dragon the second time, it respawned me back at the main compound, so I left him here. All of day 595 was spent creating my new 3-headed dragon totem. I know you're jealous. It took all day because the first couple versions just looked terrible. I know this might sound a little crazy, but I'm gonna do a raid at my main compound, so I gotta make sure my villagers are safe. I spent all day working on a locking mechanism where if I flip this lever, my villagers should be a little bit safer. And after quite a lot of wiring in day 597, every villager hut on my compound is hooked up to the same system. Day 598, I built this panic tower above the conduit. If things get hairy, I should be able to survive on the top of that thing. I also burned down some trees just to open things up a bit. At night, I tested the panic tower on an unsuspecting zombie, and it works perfectly. The zombie was lured into the water and the conduit killed him. I quickly got Bad Omen and started the raid on day 599. The beacon powers made such a difference. This raid was the easiest one yet. Anyway, on day 600, I got the achievement for hitting a villager with a bolt of lightning. He volunteered. I spent the rest of the day making tree houses, which should help in future raids. I did another raid on day 601. I was mostly just testing my limits with the Vex with this beacon. Again, as long as I'm standing near the beacon, I'm virtually unkillable. I've also started on a second double chest full of totems. I got 7 today. Day 602, I spent all day getting Bad Omen 3 to test out a level 3 raid in the compound. Even this level 3 raid wasn't a big deal, especially with the tree houses I installed. Yep, mopped it up pretty quickly and then went over to Glasstown to cash in on my hero status. I spent all of day 604 making huge profits with the massive discount these villagers give me now. I don't really need the money though, so I decided to go back to my compound and fix up my map on day 605. All I did all day was extend the map. It'll look nice when it's done. See, I was right. I could stare at this thing all day. One of the many achievements is to eat all of the food in the game, including spider eyes. I didn't even know beet soup was a thing, but I had to eat it, and probably never will again. Day 607, I went over to L-Town to buy some suspicious stew, and when I slurped it down, it blinded me. What a useful item. And for some reason, you can also eat dried kelp. Good thing I only have to do this once. Day 608, I got that kelp real crispy, but it didn't help the taste much. And I made sure the last piece of food I had to eat was my enchanted golden apple. It's one of the rarest items in the game, and it tasted delicious. At night, I put a butcher in the camp. Farming that kelp gave me an idea. Higher level butchers will buy dried kelp blocks, so I tried to make an auto kelp farm. I couldn't get it to work, and I gave up. So day 610, I tried to make an auto bamboo farm. I should have remembered that I'm terrible. Day 611, I finally was able to breed the llamas. But as I've said before, 2 llamas is enough. And now I'm going back over to my mansion for the nearby jungle to breed some ocelots. But of course, it's gonna take a whole day. I got to the jungle on day 613 and looked everywhere for ocelots, but couldn't find one. The jungle is dense, they're very small, this is gonna be harder than I thought. At night, I stole the bed of this child and slept very comfortably. Here's a pro ocelot finding tip: burn down the jungle. And with the jungle a little more thinned out, the ocelots are way easier to find. This one's gonna be in this hole for a little bit, but I gave him some salmon, he'll be fine. Day 615, I got another ocelot, but the first one I found despawned. Oh, I have a plan, and it's gonna involve dragging this cat through 4,000 blocks of hell. It took all of day 616 to get him home, and he really didn't cooperate. So I have the perfect name for him. I put him in the cat cage. He is their lord. Oh, running 4,000 blocks through the nether is so fun, right? It took an entire day of deforestation, but I got myself another ocelot. And I spent all of day 619 yanking this cat through the nether. And after 8 days of pretty annoying work, I was finally able to breed my 2 ocelots and got the achievement for breeding every animal. I decided to just leave him in the hole until I can think of something more creative. Day 621, I'm going to attempt the Furious Cocktail achievement. It's an achievement for having every potion effect applied at the same time, and I think I can do it today. I really made sure I had everything before I started, but I was still nervous I wouldn't get it. But I did. The invisibility potion is now my new favorite thing. Now I just have to find one last biome, and I'll have all of the achievements. Day 622, I wanted to put looting 3 on my sword, but it's gonna cost 37 levels, so I think it's time for another raid. But again, as long as I stay near my beacon, I'm essentially unkillable. The raid was done by nighttime the next day. There were no problems
profits on day 624, though I was increasing my infrastructure to make more glass. But of course, that just means I'm gonna need more sand, so day 625 I spent all day shoveling. What's nice though is my shovel has mending, so after a long day of shoveling, I can fix it right back up. The sugarcane farm has proved invaluable in this whole system though. Cartographers will initially level up by selling them paper, and that's what sugarcane is for. The alternative is buying very expensive maps, so I saved a lot of emeralds. I was no longer a hero on day 627, but my elytra needed some juice, so I sold a little bit more glass. I still need 2 more levels before I can put looting 3 on my sword though, so I'm gonna need this sand. I was just on my way to start another raid when Chief and I fell down a large hole. Everything appeared to be fine. Chief lived and I kept the lava. But when I got back on him, he was pushed into the lava, and I didn't have enough time to react. Well, at least I have something to take my aggression out on. I'm gonna miss him. He was a great horse. But I'm mostly sad I have to use Mongoose now. Day 629, I did a raid. It didn't really cure my depression. Though seeing the Tree of Murder like this kinda helped, even though it was my fault the chief died. I'm still profiteering on day 631. I think the only thing that'll make me feel better is another beacon. And you know, shoveling takes my mind off things. Day 632, I spent all day building another quad auto furnace. That makes 8 of them, though I can't even use it yet because I don't have access to enough fuel. Day 633, I flew back to the camp with Bad Omen 3 and started another raid. The raid took 2 days, but on day 634, I found out that if I stand below my conduit, no amount of Vex can kill me. Day 635 was 100% filled with shoveling. I've got to fill up that second quad auto furnace. And after another full day of shoveling on day 636, I wasn't even near my max level of sand. So of course the next day I went straight back to shoveling. It's exhilarating! I'm still nowhere near full on sand, but I've got enough to last me a while, that's for sure. Day 638, I began construction on a second mega beacon on the other end of the compound. I'm missing 3 emerald blocks, but as fast as I can get them, that shouldn't be too much of a problem. I also had 53 enchanting levels, so I tried to get an Unbreaking 3 book for my elytra. But of course, that's quite a lot of levels, so now I have 2 elytras with Unbreaking 3. That means at full durability, I could fly for 57 minutes uninterrupted. Day 639, I sold off some of my smooth stone to pay for the rest of that beacon. So now that I have all the emerald blocks in place, I just need 18 more wither skeleton skulls and have to kill the wither 6 more times. Shouldn't be too bad. You gotta remember though, I've got a looting 3 sword now, so instead of a 2.5% chance to drop a skull, it's now a 5.5. And on the very first day being down in the nether, I got 3 skulls, tying my best day ever. This looting 3 sword is the greatest thing I've ever made. Day 641, I got another 3 skulls. I only got 2 skulls on day 642, but that's because I was mostly expanding the fortress. And day 643, all I did was expand the fortress. Day 644 was a really great day. Got 3 skulls, so we're back on track. But then, on day 645, a new record, 4 skulls in one day. I only got 1 skull day 646, but it's kinda cool to know that I have 5 withers in my hotbar. And after a solid week in hell, I got my 18th wither skeleton skull, and now I can go back home. I held him in my hands the whole way home. I was proud. I guess now it's time to vanquish the wither 6 times in one day. I did it no problem. I'm becoming more of a boss than he is. So now I've got 2 sextuple beacons. It required about 4,500 emeralds to make, not to mention 12 withers. And all for a little bit more superpower coverage. I think it's worth it. Now it's time to break in the new beacon with a level 3 raid, and I used Fork to get Bad Omen 3. I only got Bad Omen 2 by the end of the day, but I had a ton of fun throwing a trident at people. The level 3 raid started on the early morning of day 651. 90% of the compound is covered by beacon effects at this point, but I've got 300 more days. I could make it 100. I finished up the raid on day 652 with ease. Wow, my second double chest of totems is getting pretty full. I went to Glass Town later. I'm not building a beacon anytime soon, but it's nice to have some spare cash. Day 653, I built a nether portal in Glass Town. I'm gonna use this lava to burn my 8 furnaces hot and long. It's a little treacherous, but I've killed the wither 12 times. I shouldn't fear pigmen. It's amazing I personally know 20 cartographers, but I'm just now figuring out you can make bigger maps. Not for me today. Later, I made a pyramid of hay. Just a whole day of nothing productive. Seeing how fast I can carve through blocks with a beacon makes me really want one down in the mines. Sometimes it works in caves, but again, not always. Day 656, I went through an abandoned mine shaft. I'm mostly here for the tracks. This saves me a lot of iron. And no, I'm not making an iron golem farm. Who do you think I am? Day 657, I made my cactus disposal system. I'm gonna use it to get rid of these books, and it won't burn down my house because it doesn't use lava. I did a little bit of mining on day 658 too. I've got to keep my other auto furnaces full of cobblestone. My pickaxe was getting torn up, so I mined in the nude for better healing. Even though I had no armor on, nothing bad happened. I'm pretty good about lighting my mine up. I've got a week before day 666, so it's time to spruce up my nether hub. I'm gonna keep most of the bottom part cobblestone. There's historical value in it. This is fairly dangerous, but I'm making a shaft that goes all the way down to lava for easy access. It's good fuel. I was very careful about the whole procedure, but if I'm being honest, I have a lot of fire resistant armor, so even if I fall in, I'll probably live. However, even though I was fairly certain I wouldn't die, any construction in the nether always makes me feel a little nervous. By the end of the day, I got the basic structure done. It's not idiot-proof, but it'll work. Day 662, I finished up the whole system with some glass. I have a pretty much unlimited supply. You know, it kind of looks like it belongs there, and I can't wait to use all of this lava. And at night, I mined up some grass blocks with Tim. I'm gonna need them. I'm gonna try my best to build a fairly normal-looking house down here in the nether. It'll even have a nice soft grass lawn. It's got everything, even some nice ocean front views. Though if you know anything about real estate, you'll know it's all about location. Because even though the house is pretty nice, most of my lawn is still on fire. I did some more landscaping on day 665. Grass will grow here, it just takes a little longer. Dry climate. I also installed a hopper system by the front gate, so when I kill my neighbors, all of the loot will drop into a convenient location. Day 666, I trapped a zombie pigman. He will be the butler. See, everything a normal house has. And after some landscaping, it's not looking too bad for a foreclosure. I'm still working on the Hell Shack day 667, installing a blue sky. I only did a little. I didn't have too much ice, and I wasn't sure if it was going to melt. I got a lot more ice the next day. Tim's a lot stronger now. Yep, just mined ice all day. A sky's worse. Forecast is looking like a wet day 669. I was just extending my storage room when I found a cave connected to it. This thing is right under the monster spawner and could be why it's so slow. Hey, it's already a little bit faster. Look at that. And bread rations came in today, so there was a lot of celebrating. Good night, everyone. Sleep tight. Back at the fixer-upper, and I planted some trees. I don't know how I didn't think of this sooner. Hey, it looks pretty good from certain angles. But after some birch trees, grasses, and flowers, it's really become something. Though I will have to figure out some way to deal with the neighbors. Oh, it's also got a menacing storage room that I never showed you.
Is that Prophet's eye smell?
I made a lot of money, but didn't record it for tax purposes. Day 673, I'm back home, though, setting up some shulker boxes. It's time for another adventure. However, on the day I planned to leave, it was thunderstorming, so it's time to get some monster heads. If you hit a creeper with lightning, he'll become far more powerful. A charged creeper. And if that charged creeper explodes and kills a monster, the monster's head will fall off. It's dangerous business, and I felt really uncomfortable the whole time. But now I have a skeleton skull. This is nice. I put it in my treasure room, next to Tor's and Elbaton.
Break this glass and I'll kill you.
Time to adventure. I went west before, now I'm going east. How convenient, I built a road. All I have to do is find one more biome, then I'll have all of the achievements in the game. Problem is, I don't know what that biome is, so I might be out here for a while. I found some more Badlands on the morning of day 676, pretty close by, and I was simply running around when I got the achievement for exploring all of the biomes. I'm pretty sure I've been to a Badlands plateau before, but whatever. I built a little house to celebrate, and I'm gonna mine up some Badlands resources. I mostly farm terracotta, there's tons of different colors. It's a fun area. The naturally spawning mine shafts are a nice touch. I spent 2 days mining it. I have the coordinates, so I could always come back, but I don't know when that's gonna be. Speaking of going back, it's time to go home. And after just a short bit of flying, I was back at a friendly nether portal. Day 679, I'm installing my new terracotta floors. I'm gonna DIY and save some money. Getting the pattern right can take a second, but the floors do turn out nice. I got lots of terracotta, and I'm planning on using it. The base floor, I did black terracotta, and it looks classy. Still just working on the floor day 680, there's a lot of rooms. But by the end of the day, I pretty much understood how to get the pattern right. The front yard I did in green terracotta, and it turned out better than I expected. And it's finally time to get rid of this coal and redstone floor in the basement. What was I thinking? Light blue terracotta works down here. Day 682, I was breeding my bees. How do I still not know how these work? I also shoveled up some clay. I'm gonna have to make some of my own terracotta. It's gonna be a bit before the cotta's done cooking, and honestly, I'm kinda sick of flooring. So it's time to make a volcano. I need cobblestone. I thought this might be a fun way to do it. I mined and blasted a big chunk of cobblestone out of this mountain and then filled it up with lava. I also put some lava flowing off this side for a nice effect. I never knew how fun volcanoscaping could be until I tried it. I may have got a little carried away with the lava, but I can live with what I've done here. I keep having these recurring nightmares about my house burning down. The entire thing is made of wood, so I'm replacing with stone brick. They're fire retarded. It was not a simple renovation. My house has some weird stuff in it, and now I have to redo most of the lights and ladder systems. Messing with the windows, though, floor by floor, is definitely gonna be the most tedious. This house has some weird windows, but I'll get them. The next day was a little easier because the upper rooms don't have much in them. Well, at least they all have a nice view of the volcano. And by the end of the night, I got to my throne room, which means the house is complete. Who needs insurance? Day 690 was just spent making everything look nicer, like my new gold archway. I'm also gonna layer in some smooth stone just to break up the stone a little. It looks good, but I think tomorrow I've got the perfect thing to finish it. I'm gonna smooth out those corners and really bring out the blocky aesthetic of this massive tower. I think that'll do it. I can say I'm proud to live there. Day 692, I started construction on my new dolphin cage. I'm gonna put this dolphin in it, because I can. So I spent the entire night dragging this dolphin back to my main compound. And by the next morning, I had captured a dolphin. Not sure what happened though. He was fine 1 minute, and then later I checked on him and he was dead. Well, I guess we don't want to let this dolphin meat go to waste. I'm back in the nether day 694 doing some more terraforming. It looks nice, but I don't think I can do anything about the hellish haze. Before day 695, I spent an hour in creative mode trying to figure out how to make a bamboo
bamboo farm. Then most of my time was spent gathering the materials. Even though I got some practice, it's complicated though. By the end of day 696, I wasn't even close to done. An auto bamboo farm could turn me easy auto profits if built correctly. But for me, the wiring is gonna be tough. It's harder when you can't fly. The tutorial I watched on YouTube looks way better. It may be just a little bit ugly, but it works. The bamboo grows, it gets harvested, but those glass panes are going to be an issue. I'll have to switch out the glass panes for glass blocks because bamboo was getting caught, but it's fine because I have tons of glass. I still got some steps, but it's functional, making me bamboo. Day 699, I encased the structure in stone. Now that I have bamboo, I also have scaffolding, which should have made this easier if I knew how to use scaffolding. I'll finish it tomorrow. It's nice to look at. It's day 700, and this is taking a lot more stone than I thought. It's gonna take a while for my furnaces to produce, though I've got to find some way to spend the time. I'm down for a raid, it's been a little bit. When I do raids at the main compound, I definitely notice that pillagers get caught up in this area a lot. I'm always looking to increase the efficiency of the raids, and I think a trap here would be perfect. The faster I can complete raids, the faster I make profits, and you know how much I love profits. Yep, I love them so much I'm expanding to 12 auto furnaces today. It definitely seems like there's a lot of things to check off my list. I've still got to make this bamboo farm, and the creepers are not helping, but at least by the end of the day, the bamboo farm's done, and it's nice to look at. Day 704, it's time to move the cats, because I'm getting rid of the cat cage to make room for a lava trap. It might take a bit though. I never took shop in high school, so in theory, all I have to do is flick this lever and then boom, lava trap. Oh, I went to bed excited to burn. Unfortunately, I spent all of day 706 just trying to get Bad Omen 3 and couldn't do it. However, after a very lucky day 707, I was all the way up to Bad Omen 6. Before this, I thought 3 was the max, but apparently it goes up to 6. The traps worked exceptionally well. I was able to burn whole waves of this raid with ease. And in the early morning of day 708, I defeated the level 6 raid. It felt good. The exchange rate was so good, everyone sold out almost immediately. My glass supplies are through the roof again. I didn't start recording on the next day until profits were done, but I got 61 blocks of emeralds. That's like half a beacon. So day 710, I started construction on a prepper house out here in Glasstown. I didn't get much more than the frame done, but I used a lot of different materials, so that makes sense. I need a house here. The profits get absolutely insane when you have Max Hero of the Village. But the best part of the day was finding a cat that looks like my cat, then making him my friend through fish. I mean, I liked the house before, but now it's home. However, midway through construction on day 712, the cat tried to play in the fireplace, which obviously wasn't a good idea. I stood there for a long time. I couldn't believe what just happened. Hopefully some basement construction will take my mind off of it. The house has to be quite lavish to make up for the cat that died in it. The basement is the real reason I made this house in the first place. You need some place to put all your items. I'll pretty much only be using the top of the house to sleep, but I'll sleep comfy. The house was pretty much done on day 715. It's not bad for the head of a large glass conglomerate. But day 716, I'm right back to getting Bad Omen 6 this time, because I definitely know that's the max. But even mid-level 6 raid, you gotta know I'm still perfecting my traps. I wired it up so even those big Ravagers can fit inside of the traps now. It's insanely helpful. I finished up the raid on day 717 and started on my third double chest full of totems. And by nighttime, I was back in Glasstown just tending to my furnaces. And I got another cat. I'm gonna be really careful with this one. Day 719 was again an entire day of profits. I'm really at this. Because by the end of day 720, I had made almost 3 stacks of emerald blocks. That's almost 2,000 emeralds. So yeah, I felt like a hero, and I'm finally being compensated for it. I'm finally doing it. I'm finally going to set up a mining beacon. For too long, I've wondered what it'll feel like to strip mine with beacon powers on, and now I'm gonna find out. Well, I don't have the beacons yet. I've got to kill the Wither a couple more times. But before I do that, I've got to kill his henchman. Good thing I've got this looting 3 sword. I'm also working on expanding the Nether Fortress, and as you can tell, day 723, that was going swell. Well, this will be a true test of my ability to stay calm under pressure. Even though I had my ender chest, water does nothing in the Nether. I even tried drinking milk. I didn't think it would work, and it didn't. Well, good thing I have this totem. At any time, I'm carrying about 4 totems on me though, so I would have had more than enough time to wait out the fire. I'm not hurt, but I'm definitely scarred. I definitely got a little too comfortable down here, and you never want to get comfortable in hardcore Minecraft. So I built a trench. It's simple, but it helps a ton. If I ever don't like what spawns in the fortress, I can safely run down this trench to despawn everything. Then I run back and sometimes new skeletons spawn. But despite how good I'm getting at this, I still need 18 skulls. It's always gonna take a while. But hey, look at that, day 727, I already had 18 skulls. I'm gonna stay down here for one more though. I got the last skull on day 728 and then added it to my skull collection. I'm gonna fight the Wither 6 more times tomorrow, so I took all day to make sure I had everything I needed. Well, this is awkward. I left the cart at the other place. I did it, killed him 6 times. Only ever got hit right at the end. Of course, I had white stuff. Problem, the beacons don't work underground. Whatever, I'll figure it out tomorrow. It's time for my 2-year celebration cake. I'm mining straight down day 731. I hope this works. Oh, it works. To get that beacon to work underground, all I gotta do is dig a hole straight above it. I may have misjudged the beacon placement a little bit. It cuts through the mine. I'm fine with it. It's well worth it. I mine a lot faster with this thing. I spent the
entirety of the next day mining, because this is easily the most fun you can have while mining. This was a single day of mining. Oh yeah, day 733, I was back on the surface though, starting on a little construction I call the head factory. I still need a zombie and creeper head, and I'm hoping this building will help. It's fairly large though. I had to build it on the industrial side of the compound. Though while putting the roof on, I had a small accident and lost both of the willing participants. At least the explosion happened before I put the glass in. That night I captured a zombie and 2 creepers. It's a whole building dedicated to it, so it was pretty easy. Now I just have to wait for it to thunderstorm and I can collect my subjects' heads. Day 736, I updated my pillager lava trap. I made it just a little bit bigger so the Ravagers would fit in even better. I also put the kill switch on a block of diamond, just to flex. Oh, you thought that only took a day, huh? You don't know how bad I am with redstone. Well, you know what new traps mean? We've got to do some testing with a raid. The new traps are great. They're family-sized. The best part is now the Ravagers, which normally take a lot of arrows to kill, can be easily disposed of with my traps. It doesn't matter what you kill the raiders with, just matters that you do it. I freshened up my tools and made money all of day 740. A good one. It's time for a new diamond sword on day 741. I had 73 levels to blow, so I made a perfect new diamond sword that'll work in raids. And I think the best thing to test it on is a level 6 raid. This sword has sharpness, which allows me to do more damage to the flying Vex in the raids. Well, it does more damage to everything, but the worst part about the raids are always the Vex. I can't believe I didn't make a sword like this sooner. I was finished with the raid before the next morning. Just went back to making money day 744. A max raid will make you rich. Emeralds buy happiness. Remember that. I'm in the Nether day 745, just looking for some quartz. I'm also running low on soul sand. I've killed the wither too many times. I needed that quartz because I'm building an auto sugarcane farm in the desert. I learned how to do it with the bamboo farm. Converting it shouldn't be that tough. And by the end of the day, I think it works. Nah, I had to fix up some things the next day, but now it definitely works. It's not as colossal as the bamboo farm, but it fits in good. Day 748, I expanded the walls in Glass Town. This town is essentially my entire economy. I've got to protect it, especially now that I'm expanding the cartographers. Oh yeah, a lot more room for a lot more profits. Day 750, I named my desert cat. I'll be more careful with him this time. Oh, I also built this little minecart track that goes from the villager breeder to my house. It's lavish. Walking's for the paw. I did some landscaping day 751. My workers cooked mountains of glass. As you can see, I had no plan. Hopefully this works out. 2 trees is nice. From the savannah. Now I'm connecting the glass town to the main compound through the nether. That should save on rockets. I use a lot of them just getting over here. I'm gonna make it look nice on the other end. Keeps the voices away. I quickly ran out of stone though. I did what I could. I cooked up a bunch of stone day 754. I'm gonna need it. I spent all of day 755 gathering stone. It's very quick with my mining beacon. I'm down here for stone, but I mine everything. It's fun. I'm laying down some stone today. Pigmen can't spawn on these half slabs, so it's super safe. I'm still working on paving that road all the way over to Glass Town, but we'll get there. You know, between you and me, this is all really just an excuse for me to mine with my beacon. I'm making a mushroom dirt farm day 758. It serves a purpose, I swear. Yes. Grow. I also made a mushroom farm in case I ever need to make more mushrooms. I'm deciding whether or not to put mushrooms down in the Hell Shack, and I'm leaning against it. That day I also cut down my jungle trees to try to get saplings. I want more. I heard from a friend that if you put cows on mushroom dirt, it makes them mooshrooms. And I'm gonna test that theory. I mean, I know where some mooshrooms are, but this'll save me a trip through hell. Mooshrooms aren't even useful to me right now. I just want them. I finished up that road paving all the way to the desert town on day 761. I also built a nice stairway down to the lava for prime access. I'm still working on paving day 762. In my wildest dreams, I'd love to pave this all the way to the mansion to make that route a little safer. Thing is, I'm already out of stone, so this is all I'm gonna do for now. I just did some tinkering with redstone on day 763. Your mom likes this one. Hooray, it works. I'm producing the largest hardcore Minecraft fireworks show of all time. You can catch it on day 1000, because it's gonna take that long to set it up. There's a lot of things I gotta do, and one of them involves good old-fashioned spelunking. There's a lot of caves under my compound, and I've been meaning to light them up, so that's what I did today. But there definitely won't be a fireworks show if I can't handle this redstone. Oh, I got it. It's looking good. Another thing I've been meaning to do is expand the monster farmer. I've got so much cobblestone, I might as well. It's on the industrial side of the camp. It's fine. Oh, and it was so much easier with a beacon, and one day I got everything in there, including the cats. You know, there's uglier things to have on your land. And it's a lot faster. I get a lot of monster parts, including gunpowder, so I'll deal with the ugliness. I spent all of day 768 picking flowers and then making bombs in my backyard. I'm new at this, but check it out. They get intricate. Day 769, I'm building my seat for the fireworks show. It's a diamond throne, and if you sit on it, you're at 69 height. Oh, it's hard to blend these diamonds and emeralds. My life is so difficult. It's time to grab more of that valuable cobblestone on day 770. Because yes, I'm making the monster farmer bigger. Don't tell the IRS. No, I definitely don't have more than 10 employees. I couldn't do the cats and finishing touches in one day, but I finished it up on day 772. You know, now there's 12 cats in that thing. I have an idea I want to test out on day 773. I don't know if it's going to work. I'm gonna need a raid first, so it's back to slapping. I was thinking maybe if I put an iron golem between a wall, he could bash pillagers on the other side.
but he didn't. This is what being creative gets you. Nothing. I did the raid. Golem died. Somber day. Next day, I went down to Glass Town, said hi to Binks, and made 64 blocks of emeralds. Can't forget the sugarcane. I need these for my homemade explosive devices. And now, with ample supplies, I can really get my arsenal going. But now it's day 777, the luckiest day in the series. And on my luckiest day, I'm just trying to make some redstone work. My first missile test was a success. Everything launched perfectly. No luck involved. Day 778, just covering up my ugly yet effective redstone. Well, this is embarrassing. I'm gonna need those emeralds back. We'll do quartz. Stylish and affordable. Day 779, I found out about chiseled quartz, and I want more. Yeah, I think I'm happy with that. I'm also gonna be expanding the monster farm, cause, you know, why not? I tried to build on top of what I already had. I thought maybe it could work, but it didn't. Monsters spawn up here, but they die when they hit the ground. Technically, that floor makes my mob farm slower. Don't get me wrong, the monster farm is fast, but I'm sure I can exploit these creatures even harder. So yeah, day 782 is gonna be another day in the dark, with nothing but meows to keep me sane. This top layer totally works against me, so I lit the whole thing up and sealed it. If you believe me, it'll make it faster. Sure, I wasted a bit of time, but at least it has a nice roof now. Day 783, I was making an auto green dye machine. I think this'll work. I don't entirely understand cactuses to begin with. I was also working on the zombie farm trying to install an auto kill feature. I must have felt inspired. I never got it working, but that would have been nice. I guess I'll just stick to building roads, it's simple. And you know, I've been meaning to install the granite in L-Town for a long time. Oh, and I also checked on my sweetberry bush. It's fire. Big day today, gonna repopulate this town. But first we have to extend the nether highway. Won't take long, I'm very powerful. See, it only took 2 days to get a paved road through the nether with a minecart track. As you can see, I have a very large stock of villagers that I can send other places. And for some reason, repopulating the raid town sounded like a good idea. And that's pretty much all I did. Day 788, sent servants 2 at a time to the raid town. Who wants freedom? I didn't want to pack it, but there's a fair amount of villagers here now. All right, time to make this a good place to raise a family. Well, this is a terrible start that I should have thought about. Thanks to my expert planning, there's now a raid happening at the town. There's no locks, no defenses. It's gonna be bad. I lost. I could see them all cheering in the distance. Worst part is, when I was going back home, there was a captain down here and I killed him without thinking about it. No time to mourn. Time for vengeance. At the end of the raid, I was the hero of the village, but I don't feel like a hero. I spent the night putting up torches, being sad. Maybe I'll feel like a hero after some mining. I'll be able to put another layer on the monster farm, just gotta make sure I don't intersect with the bamboo farm. I'm sort of uncomfortable with how thick this thing is starting to get. I'm still going though. The monsters don't fall from as high, but I hit way harder, so it's fine. And I found a little time at night to fix the cactus farm. You know, eating nothing but pumpkin pie has really been good for me. 4 layers, 16 cats, and we're gonna be testing it today. I found out that if I stand on top of my house for a while and load the whole chunk, a lot of monsters spawn in the spawner. See, I go down and there's just hordes of them. I don't know what the magic behind this is, but it gives me an excuse to look out on my land, which I'll always take. I also got 3.5 stacks of gunpowder. I'm gonna make some bombs. Day 795, all day I just farmed monsters. It's super efficient and fun. Yeah, the best part is definitely base jumping my massive house every single time. With this new stock of gunpowder, I made over 1,400 rockets, and we're only getting started. This firework has diamonds in it. Ooh, I had to test one, and now I'm really excited. The next day, I mostly spent farming mortals and looking at my property. And there's no sound on day 798, but I expanded my compound sugarcane farm. I'm running out of paper. This should help. I can already tell day 799 is gonna be a great one. I made a collection system for the sugarcane farm. That was about it. I don't have any huge plans for day 800, mostly just finishing up the farm. And maybe putting another layer on the monster farm. I have a problem. It took 2 days, but I got all of the kittens in. Oh, that is thick. Yes! The monster farm is so efficient, it's really starting to get clogged up with a bunch of junk. For now, I just throw it into lava. Hopefully further down the line, we can get a little more sophisticated. Though I will say, with 5 layers of monster farmer, I've got plenty of gunpowder. So much so, I made fireworks for 2 days straight. It was magical. Day 805, I just realized I'm getting kinda close to level 100. So I kept farming. I need the gunpowder, and mountains of XP is nice too. Day 806, I was away waiting for the monsters to spawn when I fell off the top of my house. I guess it's a good thing I had my totem. Ah! What happened? I'm gonna take that as a sign to be more careful, but there's no way I'm stopping. Especially since I'm already level 90 on day 808. Yeah, nothing's gonna stop me. I'm going straight to level 100. I'm up to 94 day 810. And after day 811, I was at 98. So tomorrow's probably the big day. And there it is, level 100. It's quite the achievement, even though it's not an achievement at all. I didn't do any celebrating. I just made bombs all day. Day 814, I'm gonna put more villagers in Ghost Town. I don't tell them why I call it Ghost Town. Guys, you can't leave. I swear it won't happen again. I needed some more gold
gold for fireworks, and my nether condo seems to be a good place to get it. Oh, and chickens are used in fireworks too, so they're relevant again. I guess I'm not the best enchanter though, because day 816 I dumped 50 levels into this bow and I can't even put mending on it. There's also pillagers in my sheep. It wasn't a great day. You can't put infinity and mending on the same bow. It's the law, I just don't agree with it. So I completed this raid using only my infinity bow, because if I didn't, I'd probably hate myself for it. Well, good news is I got my levels up the next day pretty quickly by selling glass. And the only part of day 819 I recorded was the sunset, so at least I got the best part. The citizens are doing well, there's more of them every single day. I should be able to stack these beds even higher too, so there should be more. Anyway, it was a long day of profits, and if I try hard enough, tomorrow I might be able to get to level 69. I did it, left there level 69, and proud. I felt it was a good time to change up my house just a little bit. Yep, I'm trimming it all out with emeralds. It's gonna look good. I only got 3 sides done today, but if I stand here, it looks like I did the whole house. Day 822, I'm doing another level 6 raid for some more money. Gotta finish up the house. These are the problems you run into when you try to build a house literally made of money. Well, now the raid is finished, and it seems I'm just about 1 raid away from 3 full double chests of totems. And after a long day in Glass Town, everyone was beat. Lots of profits and breeding. My favorite part about this town is going to the nearby desert and seeing how much my glass industry has destroyed it. And that shoveling is going to continue. I'm completely out of sand. I'm low on sand, the furnaces are cold, things are pretty much at a standstill here at Glass Town. I flew home at night. Well, one of my many homes. Got right to it in the morning. I'm not going a single day without emeralds on my house. Right now, my vertical mansion has about 3,500 emeralds on it. 20 floors of pure luxury. But I'm right back in the trench day 827. I'm gonna need more heads. And no, this time it's not for another beacon. I'm gonna make some special fireworks that you need heads for. But day 828, I got distracted by this glowstone. But by now, I'm pretty good at grabbing the skulls, so it shouldn't take too long to get a few. And I'm running back home day 830 with 9. Should be enough. Yep, day 831, I made some of the most expensive and luxurious fireworks the world has ever seen. They took tons of gunpowder, diamonds, and wither skeleton skull heads. But look at that. It's a little creeper. The next day, I went back to the nether. I don't have to farm. I have an idea. I laid down a minecart track in my nether trench. Now I don't have to run back and forth to reset the spawns in the nether fortress. I can just ride the cart, check the spawns, and if there's wither skeletons, I can kill them. I left that same day. Like I said, I'm not down there to farm. I'm in Ghost Town day 833. I was moved to make a monument to the dead. I was personally responsible for many villager deaths on this land, and I feel this is a way I can atone. It was fitting that I got to do some of the construction in the rain. Of course, it's a work in progress. I'm gonna spend a few days on it, like you should with any monument, especially one to the dead. Day 835, I went back to the old diamond mine in Ghost Town, and I found some diamonds just laying around. I donated them to the Dead Villager Foundation, which I of course run. And now I will ask for a moment of silence for the dead villagers. Back to Labor Day 836, I have my mouth to feed. Yeah, it was pretty much just a day of light chores and bomb making. Still just working day 837, what a life. I also found a convenient way to store my diamond hoe today. Day 838, I rode Raw Dolphin over to the mansion through the nether. This time I'm not going to the mansion at all, just the nearby jungle. I want to make a house for my ocelots that they'll feel cozy in, and for that I'll need jungle wood. This is my best connection for jungle wood, and it takes a day to get here, so I'm gonna grab as much as I can. So I spent all of day 840 just grabbing some wood, and I got back home a little quicker this time. Raw Dolphin's a fast horse. Now that I have a solid supply of jungle wood, it's time to build a house for my ocelots. It's not much, but they are small. Of course, it's got a chicken dispenser in the basement. I also put a big jungle tree on top of it. I don't have one like this on my land. Hello, sheep, how are you? Killing mobs, never feeling blue. Day 843, I have no idea what I am doing. And even after a full day of experimenting on the lawn, I'm still not very sure. Got it working day 844, though. It's an auto incinerator. Just poop stuff right into lava, automatically. Conveniently, all of the redstone fits underground. The only thing that's gonna show above ground is the chest. Day 845, I got my Power 5 bow. It cost me 33 levels, but I think it'll be worth it. I also made a few more diamond shovels so I can increase my enterprise. Day 846, I continued on the Pit of Profits. A lot of shoveling happened that day, that was about it. More shoveling on day 847, how entertaining. And guess what? Day 848, there was more shoveling. Day 849, there was no shoveling. I was just fixing up my shovels so I could do more shoveling. Shovel, shovel, shovel. Day 851 was the last day of shoveling. I filled up every single one of my furnaces to the brim with sand. All in all, there's about 21,000 blocks in here. Now it's time to fill up the furnaces with lava and fill my pockets with emeralds. Of course, this means war. Well, that was a fun little conflict. And now I'm starting on my 4th totem chest. I should have waited a day or two. The furnaces are a little behind. I just got restocked. Whatever, I can waste a day of max hero status. I'm a rich man. Day 855, profits began, and the only thing that stopped it was lag. I didn't sleep at night, just let that glass cook. I got almost 3
3 stacks of emerald blocks before my hero status wore off, and remember, I wasted a day. But really, no day is wasted when you spend it with family. Well, I guess it's back to raiding on day 857 again. The trap does most of the work. I even burn totems at this point, I don't care. Most of these raids I don't even have to move. I mean, they walk right into the thing. Needless to say, I became a hero by force and went straight back to slanging that glass. And if you were wondering, Binks is fine. He's not allowed inside, there's fire there. One more day of profits, I swear. At least for now. I could have stayed in Glass Town for a few more days, but I've got some business to handle at the main compound. I'm getting rid of the mining beacon, at least for now. I'll say this, it takes a lot longer than you think. Beacons have a lot of emeralds in them. Beacons also take up a ton of area, which is why I'm clearing land on day 860. Yep, that's all I did all day. Filled up my dirt chest, which of course will be used in the nether. So all I did day 861 was set up beacons. I want to have them in the 4 corners of my compound for maximum coverage. Yep, I spent the whole day placing emerald blocks, and when I was done, there was a lot left over. I'm gonna need 18 more wither skeleton skulls though, so I better get started. The whole process was easier and safer using this track. I'm so glad I built it. I'm averaging about 4 skulls per day now, so it shouldn't take long for me to get to 18. I'm sure there's ways I could increase the efficiency of this thing, but I've come a long way so far. But hey, in 5 days I got enough skulls for 6 withers. I'd say that's pretty good. Alright, now it's time to pull the plug on Uncle Wilbur. I did it 6 times. I don't know what you expected. This time I even had daylight left. It's been quite the journey, but now I have 4 sextuple beacons in the 4 corners of my compound. For the most part, it's perfect beacon coverage. Some parts of the addition aren't covered, but I can live with that. I also put some colors on the beacons, but I'm not sure these are going to be the final ones, especially since I noticed one of the beacons was crooked on day 869. The rest of the day was spent figuring out if I like blue or dark blue. I couldn't decide, so on day 870, I made them all rainbow beacons. I think I like this the best. Yep, no base is complete without a quadruple rainbow perimeter. I think I want to build something where I can look out on my land with a little bit of pride. I mean, you can see it. It's beautiful. So today I started construction on an observation deck / monument. To me, scrapped the diorite design and went for a quartz look instead. I think it looks a little more premium, but I don't have much quartz, so of quartz, I gotta get some quartz. This is a giant monument to myself, and if you want to look at my base, you have to look through my own eyes. I also put a way to get on top of my head for a more unfiltered view. The hardest part was getting it to look like it's been buried in this mountain for a long time. It took a lot of scaffolding. It also took a lot more quartz than I thought. I was back in the nether day 875. Or was I back in the nether? I don't know, looking at this house, it's hard to tell. I got more than enough quartz to finish on day 876. And it turned out pretty good. Nice monument to me, jutting out the side of this mountain. But of course, the real reason I built it was just to get a nice view of my land. And after looking at my land from that vantage point, I realized I have to cover up some imperfections. Well, good thing I've got more dirt than I know what to do with, even though I do know what to do with it. I can't lie to you, this is all just an excuse to make more wall. I also got a chance to properly light up my spruce road today. I've been meaning to do that. And after 2 days of placing dirt, we've got a big chunk of more land, which always feels good. I fixed up the road to the zombie spawner as well, even though I probably won't use it that much. But I think tomorrow I'm gonna have to find a place for the boner horse. He keeps getting stuck in my fireworks. I just made him a stable out of bone blocks. I've killed quite a lot of things, so I have quite a lot of bones. And I think now is probably a good time as ever to seriously start making a dog army. Gonna do some more terraforming day 881. I really wish the grass would grow faster here. Eventually I'm gonna have to find some reason to stay down here for an extended period of time so this grass can grow. Day 882 I built a dog barracks, which will house my dog army, bred from the dog I don't talk about. And after a jailbreak in the evening, the dogs will be eating chicken. I did more animal care the next day. I need this wool for something stupid. But first I gotta max out the tree of murder. I wanna make sure every square block of this thing has a banner on it. Well, that's nice and menacing. Oh, I also wanna make it very clear that most of these days I find some time to make some rockets. However, the biggest bomb of all will be built on day 885. You betcha I'm making a TNT block to scale. I told you it'd be stupid. It actually started to look pretty good and take some form on day 886. But then I realized it'll obstruct the view of the fireworks show, so it's gotta go. So all of day 887 was just me dismantling my art. Every block hurt. At least the dog platoon's coming along good. I spent day 888 tinkering with an auto melon farm in the camp. I understand the concept of an auto food farm by this point, so I'm gonna try to make this one big. And by the end of day 889, I had the first layer done. But of course, there's gonna be more. Once I got the concept down, I was really able to slap together those layers. Day 890, I got to 3. And day 891, I got it up to 5. What's nice is with my design of this auto melon farm, in theory I could go all the way up to max build height with it. But today I got up to 7 levels, and one more day should do it. Yep, I finished it up on day 893. 8 levels of auto melon farm. Complete. Forget being the melon king, I am the melon god. And I'm grabbing some more people, day 894. I got a librarian that'll sell me protection 3, so there's that. If I buy 2 protection 3 books and put them together, I make a protection 4 book. Though unfortunately, if you put 2 protection 4 books together, there's no such thing as protection 5. Day 895, I tried to do something similar with a sharpness villager. I'm not sure why, but he went from selling me sharpness 3 to sharpness 1. What a cheapskate. I did some mining day
day 896, it's been a while. I'm mostly looking for iron. I also wanted to check my melon production. For one day, that ain't bad. Day 897 was a tough one, so we'll just move along. Yeah, I definitely deserve to go to hell after murdering all of those turtles. If you're wondering, I'm going for the mushrooms. My cows never transformed. Of course, the only mushroom biome I know of is thousands of blocks away, so it took a couple days to get there. I thought I might get there day 900, but wasn't able to. I'm close though. I finally made it to the mushrooms on day 901, but it's dark out, so I'm gonna wait out the night in my cozy little shack I built all that time ago. I'm gonna try to bring 3 back with me, but if only 2 make it, I'm fine with that. Shouldn't be too difficult, just gotta backpedal through the nether a couple thousand blocks. There were 1 or 2 dangerous sections that I was worried about, but everything was fine. Only took 2 days and I had my very own mushrooms. Now I just gotta get rid of the phonies. Then I spent all of day 904 just trying to grow 4 mushrooms of similar height. It took all day to get them perfect, but it looked beautiful. I gotta take a day here and fix up my tools. Digging through the nether is never nice on them. Oh, and I always love being level 69. Day 906, I made 2 stacks of TNT blocks. No, I don't have a permit. I'm gonna restart that TNT block project. I'm practiced at it now. I got 1 side done by the end of the night. It's magnificent. Oh, and the dog army really seems to be coming together. I'm almost done with the TNT block by the end of day 907, but doing the top's gonna be difficult. Well, good thing my trusty sheep are always there to lend a hand. Day 908, I'm trying to make a melon man, essentially a farmer who will buy all of my melons. The first guy I tried out only wanted pumpkins, so I disposed of him. So hey, you gonna buy melons, or are you gonna end up dead? And after some negotiating, this townie will buy my melons. That's some easy profits. I felt day 909 was a good day to expand my map. It wasn't that difficult. I have 2 enchanted elytras and basically unlimited rockets. By the end of the night, I finished, but I think I'm gonna do this bottom layer too. Again, it didn't take long. I mastered this game hundreds of days ago. You see that right there? That's a map. I had some more time left in the day, so I started on the very detailed top of the TNT block. For some reason, I think I'm never going to forget day 911. Of course, part of the day was spent working on my legion of dogs. I also built a dock on my land. Like any successful man, I have many boats. Day 912, I'm starting on the cake factory. I had this idea about 100 days ago, and today I'm making it real. The idea is to have one building with everything you need to make a cake. Sugar, eggs, and white stuff. Once I tried to wire up the redstone though, things just went bad. But after another day of work, I finished up the cake factory. Now it's got everything. You know, if I ever get to 2,000 days, I'm gonna need quite a lot of cake to celebrate. But the only thing sweeter than cake is a new nether update. Now there's new stuff for me in the nether to find, and something even better than diamonds. However, today was just a marvelous day of exploring, and I killed several nether pigs. As you can see, I was having a lot of fun day 915. You gotta get under the lava if you want to find the new and powerful resource netherite. I just drank a fire potion. This ain't my first day, and this definitely won't be my only day of mining. This might take a while to find some netherite. Day 917, I made 4 diamond enchanted pickaxes to bring down to the nether with me. I mined all day and nothing, but you know, stuff that's better than diamonds should be a little hard to find. Still at it day 918 and still nothing. You know, I really thought I'd find some by now. This place looks pretty hollow. I'm on the surface though, day 920, it's thunderstorming. Looking to get myself a creeper and zombie head right here, and I think I just did it. Got the creeper head, but no zombie heads. Oh well, I really just wanted that creeper. I'm gonna go back to mining, but first I have to take a day and fix up my 4 diamond pickaxes. It took 2 days, but I did all of my other tools too. But now it's back to mining endlessly. The mine is getting so big that ghasts are now infecting it. I'm almost positive I'm doing something wrong here. Oh well, at least I get a thunderstorm break day 926. I'm going for more heads. I got that creeper head and then tried to get a pig head, but he survived. I'll take a creeper head, that's obviously very useful. That's all the footage is for this day, just me wasting diamonds. Gonna try out some TNT mining day 928. I made a safety ladder, everything will be good. Today was not a successful day, but it was a fun day. I think it's time for war. I'm almost certain that all of these dogs are hurting the efficiency of my monster spawner, so it's time to put them to work. All I have to do is punch any enemy and then the dog army will do the rest of the work. It's quite intimidating. I felt so safe that when the raid was starting, I went to bed. I regret to inform you though, at the time I only had enough hard drive space for 2 minutes of dog army footage. It was magnificent. They fought bravely and together. Nothing could stop them. But again, like I said, I didn't have hard drive space, so I only have footage of the first round, which they absolutely crushed. You are all good boys. This is also the first day I noticed some weird stuff with the compound. My villagers, they're gone. Obviously, playing on the new nether update has caused some minor corruptions. It's nothing we can't fix. The game is just having a hard time. I'm really not sure what happened. The villagers are gone. The wall is weird, but I'll fix it. I'm also gonna station the dog army in Ghost Town, so nothing bad happens here again. Please press F to pay respects. Day 932, I finished up the top of the TNT block. It's pretty useless, but I liked looking at it. Day 933, I was having a good one, just making a cloud. But at night, I flew to L-Town in a panic. I had no idea if the villagers had despawned, and they didn't. Warthog was good too, enjoying retirement. I slept in the
the cool shack in a bed I guess I haven't shown you until today. And now I'm in the end! I'm here for vanity, and you never forget it. I grabbed 2 elytras, 2 dragon heads, and some other stuff. It was a good day. Well, I wasn't recording, but now the dog I don't talk about lives up here. I always said I wish I had some property in the end, so I brought it to me. That was about it today. Checked my various farms and forgot that Melon Man no longer exists. Back to TNT mining day 937 and still getting nothing from it. You know, if grabbing TNT wasn't so easy for me, I would have given up a long time ago. And it's all thanks to my 20 brave cats living in the monster farm. The search for netherite has really started to break my spirit. I again used every single last block of TNT I had and nothing. With a broken heart, I went back to farming gunpowder, but I can't do this tomorrow. I'm gonna lose my mind. Maybe renovating the ocean shack will take my mind off my problems. I ain't keeping anything original. This cobblestone's gotta go. I also won't be sleeping on sand anymore. It's still pretty bare, but the frame's up day 942. Not sure how, but after 942 days, this was my first sunflower. Oh wow, I actually came fairly close to dying for it. But I did not die, just grabbed another totem. Yeah, it's a lot easier to do this in the daytime. I had to run back to the main camp for a few things, also bred my sunflowers. I brought a whole wall back with me. Now I'll finally feel safe. Really just detailing day 944, it's the fun part. These chairs serve no purpose, but they make me smile. I also put a little secret chest underneath the carpet, even though no one plays on this world but me. In the end, it turned out to be a nice little ocean getaway. I don't think I can call this a shack any longer. Back in the main camp, starting up a raid and hoping to make some dreams come true. I'm attempting to catch an evoker. He's kind of like their leader, and also very slippery. He spawns the Vex, and I hate the Vex. By the next morning, I had him sorta trapped, but not in the place I wanted him. Nothing a little water bucket can't fix. Well, that's just a nice addition to the compound. It could take a few days for the raid to wear off, but then he should be permanent. So I'll just build something in camp for the next couple days. I'm making a bubble elevator. I use so many rockets when I'm farming for gunpowder, it seems counterintuitive. Would have been done a lot sooner, but I changed out the cobblestone for glass. I feel like the going up process is a lot better this way. I can already tell it's so great for my monster farmer. The raid's gone today, so this guy should be trapped here forever. I wanted to test it though, so I flew back to the main camp with a raid. The evoker in my camp didn't count as part of the raid, so I was able to beat the raid without killing him. If you're wondering, no, Glasstown didn't get corrupted. That would have been bad, because I just made 2,206 emeralds in 2 days. I had to make a room of furnaces to keep up with demand, and I put a large amount of the dog army in the nether, guarding the lava. Next day, I did a level 6 raid, and do you really need to see it? I have 24 beacons. You know what happens next. Give me my money! I made hella profits on toilet paper day 955. Wow, it's nice controlling the supply of everything. Later that day, I took my emerald profits and put them on my house. For now, I just did the corners. I'll get the windows later. I'm doing another raid today, and it looks like in the first round, we're fighting my prisoner. Well, that was fun while it lasted. Get out of my mushrooms! No! Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. Yes, I know. I'm the hero. I sold enough to get back to level 100, day 959. It was a long day, and right about now, I really deserve a raid. Hey, what? Who are you? Whatever, I'm down. I'm still expanding the cartographers, though. You can always use more money. Speaking of profits, I'm still working on raids, day 961. This one went fine. None spawned in my mushrooms. I made so many profits the next day, the game itself was chugging. I leveled up a lot of new cartographers, and this made the game constantly freeze. More money, more problems. I just have too much money. If only I believed in charity. Most days, I just donate all the money to myself. Your eyes do not deceive you. It is time to make the entire house out of emeralds. I've changed out the blocks in this house several times now. It's not an easy project. For one day, that's not bad. We got most of the way up. But before we can finish, it's back to raiding. I'm not completely out of emeralds, but I know for a fact I'm gonna need more if I want to finish this house. The problem is now I'm running out of glass. There's literally too many cartographers. They bought it all. Guess it's back to shoveling. Again, the next day I was mostly just shoveling to reset Glasstown. But by the end of the night, everything was back to normal. Not 100%, but I'll make good money. I went back to emerald house construction on day 969. It was a long day of construction, but I got it done. The scaffolding really helped. You know, looking back at day 1, I never thought my base would look like this. But I'm glad it does. My favorite part is at the top there's an emerald throne, so it sort of feels like the whole house is a throne now. I still gotta do some touch-ups though, there's no windows up here. I'm gonna do green windows. It's sort of a gamble, but I think it'll look nice. It took a whole day just to break all the glass. I didn't even replace any. But today we're finishing. I'm excited. Placing the glass went a little faster and the green turned out subtle. Still not done, gonna take out these oak floors. They just reek of pour. I wanted something darker with the emeralds and I think stripped dark oak works better. I'm also gonna try to do something about those floor lights. I think I can hide them a little better. That night it thunderstormed, so now it's time to get some heads. I got 2 zombie heads, and that completes my collection, though I totally broke the 1-year cake in the process. That's okay, no one saw that. I mounted that second zombie head and a creeper head I got on the wall. All I did day 973 was make intricate carpets in all the layers of my upper house. The creeper carpet took several tries. It's big and colorful, but still needs some more emeralds. I don't mind, gives me a chance to do a raid at the Emerald Tower. Sounds like a max boss if I've ever heard one. I completed this level 6 raid with ease. I'm quite notable. I only made profits for a day, got a quick 600 emeralds. However, this time, not all the glass glass will be used for profit. I'm building a bubble elevator to the max height you can go. It's a big project, but it'll save me countless takeoff rockets. And it took every bucket that I have, but I got that water up there. So now I have a quick and free method for getting to the maximum height in the game. Pretty useful. From all the way up here, with just one takeoff rocket, I can get all the way to Glasstown. And today, I'm gonna use it to get all the way to an old ocean monument. Yeah, remember this thing? Totally conquered it with a single cow. Anyway, I was just grabbing some blocks. I was back home the next morning. I wanted to put a conduit on one of the floors in my house. It's nice you can get real up close to the conduit, and the room is totally self-contained. Day 981, I had some friends over, and one of my friends decided to stay forever. There's just always been so many rooms in the house, I've always wanted to fill them with something. This is gonna be a skeleton room, but it looks like I'm catching a drowned instead. Whatever. Problem is, I couldn't get him up into the house, and drowned aren't aggressive in the daytime, so I'm gonna have to wait till night. Alright, you hang out there. I'm gonna go make your room. I think you'll be happier here. Day 984, I tried to make a bread dispenser on top of a diamond block with a gold pressure plate. Couldn't get the pressure plate to work, so I guess I'm just gonna have to use an oak button. At night, I was trying to catch a skeleton. It was harder than I thought. I tried to get him all night and failed. He was really close to my house. Alright, I was definitely doing something wrong when I tried to mine netherite earlier. You see, I'm playing on a world that was created before netherite ever existed. So if I want to find the stuff, I've got to go to a part of the nether that I've never been to before. It's still not going to be easy to find netherite, and it might take a few days. But at least I have a chance now. All that mining I did earlier was utterly pointless. I'm going to try another spot day 988, just flying far away from camp and making a random nether portal. This time I brought TNT, haha! And there we have it, my first netherite. Well, ancient debris, but we'll get there. Ancient debris, the stuff that makes netherite, cannot be blown up by TNT, so it's an effective way to mine it. And it's also really fun! I made it back to camp with 9 ancient debris, which makes 9 netherite scrap. Then when combined with gold, it's enough for 2 netherite ingots. I made a sword and a pickaxe. I think most of us probably would. I blew 100 levels on enchantments to make this sword. Its name is... Don't even come near me. This thing has 6 enchantments. I'm unstoppable. And because I could hack and slash these pillagers super effectively, I was able to complete the raid in 1 day. I had some time later to try to get a mending villager, but they weren't cooperating. My new pickaxe doesn't have mending, and my normal plug doesn't exist anymore. I'll probably get one by 2,000 days. Because today, I'm going camping. Camping is where you leave the house in the nude and survive in the wilderness for a while. This looks like a nice spot to set up camp. I got some stone tools, some coal, and I'll even be able to feed myself tonight with some fish. There's nothing like the great outdoors. Huh? Day 993, I went on a killing spree. I just did some casual exploring nearby, even found some of my favorite flowers. And thanks to some sheep who are tragically no longer living. Tonight, I sleep under the stars. You know, I'm enjoying making you all nervous right now. Today I changed the house into more of a tree house. It fits the aesthetic of the forest. But at night I'm still sleeping outside. There's nothing like it. Still working on the tree house today. It looks pretty bad. But at least now it has a nice little room at the top, certified tree house. At night I started on a tree tunnel. You'll see. This dark oak forest has a really thick canopy, and I had the idea of carving a tunnel through it. At the end of the tunnel, you're at the top of the canopy for a pretty nice view. Well, at least it's a decent place to watch the sunset. You know, I think that's enough camping for me. I got 21 blue orchids, so I think it was worth it. Today I grabbed Warthog and went back to the camp. It's been a while since he's seen it. I spent all day making him a throne of hay so he could watch the fireworks with me. Also, he deserves it. Binks didn't want to watch the fireworks show, but I'm gonna make him. For him, I made a cat tree. It is quite comfortable. Here we are, day 999. It'd be something if I died today. I spent the day making rockets and putting the final touches on the fireworks show. Can't have a fireworks show with a patchy lawn, am I right? And there it is. The sun is rising on day 1000. I made it. 1000 days. This place is really changed. I spent all day capturing good screenshots because I'm proud. It's not over though. After 1000 days, I'm still alive, which means there's still more Minecraft to play. Make sure to hit like on the video if you want to see me go to 2000 days. I'm sure you probably do. But now it's time for the fireworks show. Just gotta make sure the dog I don't talk about can see. I just want you all to know this is probably the happiest moment of my life. The show was magnificent. It started with the finale, and it lasted about 5 minutes, just a fountain of explosives. It was also very loud. I'm turning the sound down. And when it was finally over, I felt ready for some more Minecraft. Remember, hit that like button if you want to see me go to 2000 days. But honestly, I'll probably do it anyway. Also, make sure to subscribe to my channel so you can stay up to date with any new Minecraft videos that I make.
Like Taurus 200 days!
Thank you all for watching. Please, stay notable. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.